million rand a year from its newly introduced city cleansing levy. The levy was initially targeted at about 250,000 businesses and properties who use private waste collectors. Following the city's latest court defeat, municipal spokesperson Selby Bokaba says it is still considering its legal options.
The city will seek the advice of senior legal counsel on the implications of the judgment and to determine the way forward. Swan has 1 month within which to appeal today's judgment.
In the previous judgment, the municipality was ordered to reimburse customers it had already charged for the city cleansing levy. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
We move to the courts where the prosecution in the murder case of ANC councillor Senzo Meyiwa in KwaZulu-Natal alleges that the former municipal manager linked to his killing ordered the hit through his cousin. Zolipanzi Skosana is back in the Umzimkhulu Magistrates Court where he's applying for bail. He was arrested by the police's political task team last month in connection to the 2017 murder of Meyiwa, who was a councillor at the Umzimkhulu local municipality at the time. The state alleges that Skosana cousin Mbulelo Mpofana, who is also an accused in the matter, organized the hitmen to kill Meyiwa. State prosecutor Advocate Lawrence Gaba led evidence from a witness statement.
He is the cousin of one of the people who asked that we do the job for them of killing a person at Umzimkhulu. Mpofana tells them that one of the people who approached him and asked him to get the hitman is his cousin. And you are the cousin of Profana, correct?
He told the court that the witness implicated both Skosana and former mayor Mluleki Ndobe, who has since died.
And he responded that his cousin is known by the name of Rambo Skosana, who is the Umzimkhulu city manager, powerful and influential in that municipality. And the other one is the friend of Rambo by the name of Mluleki Ndobe, who is the mayor.
The United National Transport Union says it's cautiously optimistic about the announcement that Transnet has conditionally opened its freight corridors to 11 private train operating companies. Transport Minister Barbara Creecy confirmed the decision last week in a move that could break the SOE's monopoly of the railways. Government hopes the breakthrough will help address long-standing bottlenecks in the logistics sector that have hobbled the economy. While talks are still ongoing, the selected companies would be allocated slots across Transnet's 41 routes, targeting routes used to transport bulk commodities like coal, iron ore, chrome, manganese, sugar and fuel. Untu spokesperson Atenkosi Plaiki.
Untu welcomes the fact that the approved train operating companies will add capacity to the system rather than displacing TFR's existing slots. If private operators achieve the anticipated 70 million tons of cargo movement in the long run, this could increase the total cargo moved by rail to 250 million tons by 2029 as envisioned by TRIM.
Plaiki says they'll monitor the situation closely.
Labour has fought hard to ensure that no jobs are lost during this reform process, and we note with relief that private operators will not encroach upon TFR's existing capacity and lucrative lines.
And in Asia, nearly 30,000 residents have been evacuated from Vietnam's coastal areas today as Typhoon Kajiki made landfall. The typhoon, the fifth to affect Vietnam this year, roiled the Gulf of Tonkin with waves of up to 9.5 meters before hitting shore today, lashing the country's central belt with gales of more than 130 kilometers per hour. 16,000 military personnel have been mobilized, and all fishing boats in the typhoon's path have been called back to harbor. 2 domestic airports have been shut and 35 flights cancelled before it landed between Nghe and Ha Tinh provinces. Vietnam's National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting says the rain will continue today and tomorrow, and with that, huge rainfall risks for flooding and flash floods on rivers are very high. Gold's trading at $3,363.59 an ounce. The rand's at 17.57 to the dollar, at 23.73 to the pound, at 20.55 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $68.16 a barrel.
Eldorado Park bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N12 westbound between the N1 and the Golden Highway in Devlin Roadwork still causing heavy delays. On the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue, and in Bedford View, slow-moving traffic on the N3 southbound. This is from the Kilulis interchange all the way to Van Buren.
A look at your weather. Clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 29 and 31 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. Northwest Police are currently combing through a scene where 5 bodies have been discovered at an open pit mine in Tlatlaganyane village.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Very good afternoon, everyone. It's 8 minutes past 3 on Monday, the 25th of August. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Wherever you are listening to us in 702 land, welcome to the show. I hope you had a great weekend. And thanks to Thabo Sholemashao, who kept the show on the road while I was away. Be honest, are you getting angrier perhaps than you should with teachers or principals at the school where your children go? I ask this because various bodies, including the Representative Association of School Principals, but individual principals as well, are saying that they feel they are getting blasted. And they're getting blasted in a disproportionate way, they believe, because there are so many people angry about so many other things. And they're saying, whoa, let's just put a hold on this and consider what this is really all about. We may do some things wrong, they're saying, but do we really deserve that much anger? Give it some thought and give me a call, whether you're a teacher or a parent. 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. We'll talk about it after 4. Some other stories we're covering. There is a serious rumbling over the firing of the Tourism SA board. Various players in the industry are weighing in. David Frost joins us from the organisation SATSA a little bit later here on 702 Drive. The South African Police Service has advertised around 350 jobs for detectives and specifically invited people who held that position and then retired to come in and apply. Why did they leave in the first place, and what would have to happen for them to come back? We'll talk to a detective who left the service after 19 years as a policeman about all of these issues. We'll do that at about 10 past 4. And do you have a bright plan for the 6th of September? After all, that is when the Springboks take on the All Blacks, kick off 5 past 9, I think it is. So yeah, get the fire going by the time the game's over. Hopefully a celebratory Barbie. Braai, in other words. So if you do have that planned, you may want to get in the queue on the 5th. That's when you'll be able to get your hands on a supply of the best boerewors in the land. We'll talk to the maker of the ShopRite and Checkers Championship boerewors for 2025 at 10 to 4. And by the way, if you make your own, you may want to call in and share your recipe, or not, but at least tell us how you go about making it. The maker of the Championship boerewors, Robert Rui Agrela, is from Paarl in the Western Cape, which is where we get most of our Springboks, as I was telling you just last week. We've got all that and a whole lot more on 702 Drive, including breaking news from the roads, in our regular traffic updates, and the latest from the markets. The All Share has started the week with modest gains, up around 135 points. Nothing modest, though, about Sasol's performance, up by 8.8%. on an excellent earnings report this morning. Italtile is up by 5.9%, Motus better by 4.4%. Not such a good day for Telkom, down by 2.8%, and not for Pick n Pay either, down 2.6%. The rand currently trading at 17 rand 57 against the dollar, 20 rand 55 against the euro. A pound will cost you 23 rand 72. The price of Brent crude today up by 29 cents, currently trading at $68.02 a barrel. Stephen Curtis joins us with all the details at 25 past 4. We'll get sport with Kieran Thompson. That's coming up at about 20 minutes to 4. Marky Molapo, as you heard a moment ago, with the news, has the news headlines at 3:30. We've got Karabo Chale, as always, keeping an eye on the roads. 12 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live if it's happening in 702 land. And of course, 702 land could be absolutely anywhere in the world. We often get notes and messages from people saying they're listening in all sorts of places. Speaking of boerewors, one of the first ones I got actually from a foreign client was people listening in Finland. And they had opened a boerewors store in Finland. I wonder if they're still listening. Boerewors sellers in Finland, if you're still there, drop us a note, please, on 072 702 1702. It's been a while since we spoke. But yeah, if you do hear of something or see something that we don't know about, please do drop us a line, 072 702 1702.
John Perlman,
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
So as always, we hope we have lots to talk about. We've got plenty to inquire about and lots of things to think about, including those random thoughts. Now, movies, series, there are always moments in those that you remember. And sometimes something somebody said just lodges itself in your head, becomes part of your everyday conversation. That was a random thought shared with me by my colleague, Jonathan Fairbairn. Good afternoon to you. Kabzela, you were saying there's a movie line that you use rather regularly.
Yeah, afternoon, John, and afternoon to our 702 family. So, I mean, I picked up this question on X from somebody who says, what's a movie quote that you use in real life way too often? Mm-hmm. And there's two that I'd probably use out of so many, I suppose. And one would be from the movie Babe, where at the end of the movie, he's standing there, the farmer is standing there, and he's got Babe, the piglet, next to him, and he looks at him and says, "That'll do, pig. That'll do."
Yes.
So I sometimes,
how do you use it?
I sometimes use that when somebody like says, "Do you think that's okay? Is it all right?" And I say, "That'll do, pig. That'll do." And then they get it, and then maybe sometimes they look at me and they're like, "Huh?
Like
calling
me
a pig?"
Yeah.
No, it's from a movie. Go watch Babe. And then
Never
the other
watched
one.
it.
Have you never watched
no,
it?
Have I missed something good?
Yeah, it was quite a cute movie. I mean, just how many years ago did that come out? Years and years and years ago. But it was a good movie when it came out, I thought. And then the other movie line is from A Few Good Men, where you would say to somebody, "You can't handle the truth."
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I mentioned this to Rilebogile,
Yeah.
and that's what she delivered.
I
So
didn't
Jack
even hear
Nicholson,
that.
Colonel Nathan, I'm trying to remember his first name. Movie came out in 1989. You want the truth, you can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
Colonel Nathan. It's a great scene.
Jack Nicholson.
Nathan Jessup. Nathan R. Jessup. If he was standing in front of me, I'd make sure to get the R in. I want the truth. You can't handle
You
the
can't
truth.
handle the truth.
Yeah, there we go. And then there's a whole bit that follows afterwards. I mean, the dialogue there is absolutely fabulous.
It's one of the best scenes in movie history, yeah.
So how do you use it? Like, when you are evicting a tenant?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it would be pretty simple. Like, is this the truth? Are you sure? You're telling the truth? You can't handle the truth. That kind of.
Do you say it like that to the person?
Well, you got to put it with a little bit of an accent on it.
Try that in court. I wouldn't. How about you, Karabo Chale? Good afternoon to you. Traffic in a moment. Movie lines.
I use this one a lot. I use it to psych myself up when I'm maybe doubting myself, maybe about to tackle a challenge or something. I always say, "Are you a man or a mouse?"
Yes.
I think I got that from Monty Python.
Yes.
A long time ago. So every time, like, even maybe if John is doubting himself, I'll be like, "John, are you a man or a mouse? Come on, let's do this."
And then to which he'll say, "You want the truth?" This could occupy a lot of airtime if we carry on like this. So let's get yours, please. Movie lines out of a series, things that have kind of stuck in your head and you've ended up using them in conversation. I've got one to share with you a little bit later, but before that, let's get yours on 072 702 1702. The truth and nothing but the truth. Always unvarnished, the traffic. Karabo.
Yes, John. Well, at this stage, if you are in the south, Eldorado Park, we still have bumper traffic. This is on the N12 westbound between the N1 and the Golden Highway. Roadwork still causing delays in the Devland area. This is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue, while in Bedfordview, slow-moving traffic heading towards Germiston. That's the N3 southbound from the Giluli's interchange all the way to Van Buren. In Boksburg, Farrer Park area, there's bumper traffic. This is on Rondebold Road, approaching the N17, and also look out for those faulty traffic lights in Edenville at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeck. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Clement Maniatella,
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Some of the CETAs have now threatened to take the minister to court. Is your CETA one of those?
I think minister first has to give us the reasons in writing why we're under administration.
I'm trying to be clear here. Are you threatening to take the minister to court?
We are not threatening per se. We are exercising the rights that are available in law when a decision has been made and you are not satisfied with it.
So if you're not satisfied with the reasons he gives, you are going to take him to court?
We are likely if we are not satisfied with the reasons given.
Malusi Shezi, CEO of the Construction and Education Training Authority.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra wraps up its early spring season under the baton of popular conductor Daniel Bwako, featuring internationally renowned violinist Susan Ho. The evening of crowd-pleasing blockbusters includes Liszt's Hungarian Rhapsody, Wieniawski's Violin Concerto, and Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 7. Thursday, 28 August at 7:30 p.m. at the Linda Auditorium. Book your tickets at Quicket.
Want to save on your next local holiday? Lekker offers amazing deals on local accommodation all year round. From self-catering getaways to luxury stays and everything in between, Lekker has something for every budget. Don't miss out on Lekker amazing year-round accommodation offers all over South Africa. Download the Lekker app today and discover how easy it is to book an affordable holiday. Lekker, always save on the best local stays.
Life has its own rhythm, but muscle and joint pain may upset the beat.
Noflex Gel.
Trust Noflex Gel's triple action formula to target muscle pain, reduce inflammation, and help numb the affected area.
Noflex Gel.
So, get your beat back and reclaim the rhythm of life.
Noflex Gel.
Beat the pain with Noflex Gel and higher strength Noflex Gel Fort. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Choose your health. Choose Clicks. Choose to speak to our pharmacists who are available to answer your questions and assist you with your medication queries, prescription advice, and more at your convenience. Choose expert healthcare advice. Choose our pharmacy chat service. Request a call back at clicks.co.za or inquire on the Clicks app today. T's and C's apply. Choose your health. Choose Clicks. Feel good? Pay less.
The 12th edition of the DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, is here. Experience unbeatable vibes this heritage weekend at the Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit on the 20th and 21st of September. On Saturday the 20th, catch Don Tolliver, Questa, Inkabi Zizwe, and more. Then on Sunday 21, don't miss the iconic Lauryn Hill on her 25th anniversary tour with special guests Wycliffe Jean, YG Marley, and Zion Marley, with Lira Mandisi Janchis and Zoe Modicha also performing on the Sunday. Tickets at Ticketmaster. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star and proudly supported by 702.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, quite a couple of people are sending us WhatsApp. This is great. Here's Pat. Now, this is literally from one of my first shows on 702. So, in other words, more than 5 years ago, I said, I got a message from saying we are listening in Finland. And I said, are you still in Finland and still making boerewors? And they are. This from Pat Rafferty. We're still listening. And yes, we are still making boerewors in, I don't know how to say this. I hope this is roughly right, Tampere in Finland. That's brilliant. That's fantastic. So Pat and family, I think, were out in Finland making boerewors. Iconic movie lines that have weaved their way into your conversation. Halima says, Al Pacino to Keanu Reeves in Devil's Advocate. Vanity, my favorite sin. When people flatter you to get something from you, we say to each other all the time. Sanet says, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Gone with the Wind. Clark Gable as Rhett Butler. Vivian Lee, I think, as Scarlett O'Hara. That's a line from way, way back. By the way, if you're sending these to me as voice notes, do your best to deliver it the way you heard the line. Why not? Give it a stab. It's 22 minutes past 3.
Drive Home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Well, South African tourism needs all the wind at its back that it can get. Numbers are pretty much where they were pre-COVID, I think, but it's a challenge. It is a battle to get everyone pulling in the same direction. And boy, having been away in Mpumalanga, do we have the natural advantages and fabulous people serving in the tourism sector by and large. That said, we are facing a little bit of a problem because every time there is a ruction in the institutions that are meant to back up the tourism sector, well, there's fallout that makes its way all the way down to the very bottom. The issue at this stage is the Minister of Tourism's decision to dissolve the Board of South African Tourism. She has been robust in her defense of the decision that she's made, but the criticisms are mounting, the latest of these coming from the Southern Africa Tourism Services Association. David Frost is CEO of the organization, better known as SATSA, and joins us now. Mr. Frost, welcome and thanks very much for your time. You are critical of the decision taken by the minister and the action taken. First of all, just to frame our conversation, do tell us why. Good afternoon.
Hi, John. Always a pleasure to be with you. Although not a topic, of our choosing, or indeed,
yes,
I would say of the dissolved board choosing. This solely rests with the minister. So, I think we need to just go back a little bit. The current board, which we would argue is the most competent board ever assembled at South African Tourism. I was privileged to serve on the board of SA Tourism under Minister Hanekom's tenure, and we had good people on that board, chaired by Pam Yako, but we only had a smattering of people actually from the industry. The board that was appointed in September, the 27th of September last year, was appointed by the minister. So not a board she inherited or was foisted on her. She chose this board, and as I say, it's an exemplary board. The board received in April 2025 an independent forensic report that was initiated after the Auditor General made an adverse finding against SA Tourism. And this dates back to a previous board that predates the current board. So they didn't go around, with the express purpose of digging up stuff and everything. They received this report. And in any organization, when a board is faced with it. And the forensic report, we are told, made some damning findings against the CEO, and the board was obliged to act, and that's what they have done. What we see, and I've had a front row seat, because my chairman of SATSA and my deputy chair serve on this now dissolved board, as do a number of my CEOs from SATSA. But the minister has sought to try and obfuscate the process. She appointed a solely unqualified person, Professor Gregory Davids, in my opinion, to chair the board.
Right.
You look at the current board, there are people with chairing experience, industry experience. Here you get an academic with no substantive board experience and no industry experience. And she doesn't appoint a deputy chair, John, which is the first time SAT's never had a deputy chair. So, you've got to ask why.
So David Frost, let me ask you this. Do you have any idea why she's doing this? I mean, because if you, as you formulated your opposition, you must have thought, well, this is to achieve what? Do you know?
Well, I serve on the board in my capacity as the CEO of SATSA on the Tourism Business Council, which is our apex overall body. And the minister last Monday had a meeting with us in which she set out her stall on this, and she spoke for 50 minutes. And if you have to believe her view, you have to believe the following, because this is what she set out, that this board of top industry people, and people like Lawson Naidu, impeccable track record, are appointed on the 27th of September. They've never actually met each other before, and they've never met in person.
Yes.
But somehow they virtually get together and conspire to act in a nefarious and an unlawful and in a manner that is destabilizing SA tourism. That is her argument. She provides no substantive evidence for it. And it's a ludicrous argument, John. It has no substance whatsoever. On the contrary, as I said, you have a board who is trying to execute their fiduciary duties. And at the end, she dismisses them on a technicality. She said they convened a meeting that they were not entitled to convene. Now, dismissing somebody from a board, John, I would argue needs substantive evidence. Sexual harassment, fraud, bringing the organization into disrepute with evidence. Those are grounds for dismissal. But to dismiss an entire board on this spurious and I would actually say quite legally flimsy reasoning is entirely irrational. And we support the dissolved board in exercising their legal rights to challenge this.
Thank you so much, David Frost, CEO of the Southern African Tourism Services Association. Well, this is a story that's definitely going to run. I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to engage with the minister. As I said, robust in her defense of her decision, but plenty of criticism that she's having to field. 28 minutes past 3.
When you vote in Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko, you don't just support a business, you help rewrite its future.
Gauteng's greatest, powered by Yoko, impacts our business in a very positive way. We've had a lot more feet coming through the restaurant. It's given us a lot more traction in the market, and we've seen a lot more new faces. As Grumpy's Cafe, I would encourage people to go onto Prime Media Plus and vote for their favorite establishment.
How it impacted my business, I think, is mostly through increased awareness of my brand. I think it expanded our reach a bit. And I think the biggest thing that I felt was just a kind of a buzz and an energy in the shop. At Love Books, we would encourage you to cast your vote at Prime Media Plus.
Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Your vote is more than a click. It could be a game changer for your favorite local business. Vote now on primemediaplus.com.
The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star, is back. With just one ticket, experience unforgettable music, mouth-watering food, bold fashion, and vibrant art. From Saturday 20 to Sunday 21 September, celebrate with friends and bring the family for a picnic on Sunday. This year, DSTV celebrates 30 years with international headliners, South Africa's hottest talent, and a feast that's as big as the vibe. It's Africa's biggest music and food festival. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star and supported by 702. Find out more at deliciousfestival.com.
I work at Optima College. We offer distance learning solutions.
How is it that OUTsurance provided the solution for you?
918 Rand is what I'm saving.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You're helping people to do better, and OUTsurance is doing better for you.
Definitely. If OUTsurance will not be able to beat your current premiums, remember there's that 500 Rand that you could get.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands.
Tell me, what brings you and OUTsurance together?
You know, Jacques, I've been battling to get a nice car insurance, man. Someone that can give you nice service. Whenever you call them, they're there for you. You know, OUTsurance, I found them. I'm saving a cool $360.
Why put yourself through the pain? Be like Jermaine.
Yes, be like Jermaine and sign up with OUTsurance.
Get the real deal with the real savings.
Yes, there we go. I made the right move.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Ever driven 6 hours to get to a place that should have taken 1? Skip the detour with Sem Air, a proudly South African full-service airline, connecting you to 16 top destinations, whether it be for business or a break. Baggage included. Onboard snacks. Always. Comfort and service. Count on it. Because when your time matters, your airline should too. Book now at semair.co.za. Semair, more from your airline.
Coming up, your chance to win tickets to the Festival of Motoring. WhatsApp a voice note to 072 702 1702, telling us your favorite car feature, the ride it's from, and why it gets your heart racing. You could be getting a call back. At 28 minutes to 4, let's update you on what is happening in the news. Let's go to the courts. Maki Molapo has an important story.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. We begin in the courts where the case of Lazarus Antonio, the man who allegedly murdered his ex-girlfriend and confessed to the crime on social media, has been postponed to next week Friday for bail application. The 26-year-old was arrested last week Friday and appeared at the Themba Magistrates Court today, where he faces charges of murder and attempted murder. He allegedly stabbed Gaugelo Marota and killed her outside a tavern last Thursday. Marota's lifeless body was filmed by Antonio, who also filmed himself confessing to the crime and apologizing. He then attacked his current girlfriend with a knife at her home on the same night. His current girlfriend has since been hospitalized. Today, his attorney Philemon Khomu raised an issue with the court about Antonio's arrest.
At the time of his arrest, he was assaulted by the police. He's also got some injuries which are visible on his, I think, the left or right eye.
Staying in the courts, evidence presented in the Western Cape High Court today shows alleged Underworld figures Jerome Donkey Boyson and the deceased Mark Liffman and Andrew Nodia were being monitored by the Crime Intelligence Division since 2015. Boyson and 11 others are on trial for the murder of steroid king Brian Weinstein. Weinstein was shot dead in his Constantia home in 2017. Liffman and Nodia, along with 3 other accused in the matter, have since been killed since the trial started early last year. Carlo Peterson has more.
A crime intelligence colonel is testifying about cell phone recordings extracted from the phones of alleged Underworld figures Jerome Boyson, Andre Nodia and Mark Liffman. The state presented the court with a CD containing recordings of the intercepted calls last week. However, when the state attempted to play the recordings in court, the file containing the phone calls was found to be corrupted. Boyson's lawyer, advocate Amanda Nall, today questioned how the state was able to play the recordings in court.
This witness has to lay a proper basis regarding what happened to his laptop, that it is now able to do something which it could not. Is there new programs, is there updates, etc.? And if the state wants to lead this witness as he was doing, he should do so and explain to the court why he is doing it and not the witness.
One of the files saved on the CD shows crime intelligence officers were monitoring Boyson, Nodia and Liffman's calls since 2015. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News, Western Cape High Court.
Still in the courts, the lawyer for the 4th accused in the Senzo Meyiwa trial has argued that one of the state's key witnesses clearly had an axe to grind with the accused. Mtokoziseni Mapisa is the only accused who has brought a Section 174 discharge application in the Pretoria High Court. This is an application that the defence brought claiming there is no real evidence against the accused for conviction and thus no case to answer to. Mapisa is one of 4 men accused of the football star's 2014 murder. His lawyer, Advocate Zitulele Nxumalo, has addressed the court on what he deems discrepancies in the state's case. He claims the evidence by Constable Sizwe Zungu, who claims to have seen the accused in Vosloorus on the day of Meyiwa's murder, has inconsistencies.
Zungu's evidence, it must be noted, my lord, that it does not detail a plan by the accused to execute the assassination of the deceased. It does not place the accused together or even himself, Zungu, that he overheard such a plan. Zungu's evidence does not reveal any prior agreement amongst the accused, including accused number 4, to kill the deceased.
And in the Middle East, 5 journalists have been killed in Gaza following a bombing at Nasser Hospital. It's understood Israel launched an airstrike on the hospital earlier today, killing 14 people, including the journalists. Gaza's government media office says the journalists worked at Reuters, Al Jazeera, The Independent, as well as the NBC network. The casualties add to the growing number of media workers targeted and killed in Israel's offensive against Gaza. A look at your weather. Clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 29 and 31 degrees.
El Dorado Park, bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N12 westbound between the N1 and the Golden Highway. Devland also roadworks causing heavy delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. And in Bedfordview, slow-moving traffic on the N3 southbound from Linksfield Road all the way to Van Buren.
The top story in Eyewitness News. The case of Lazarus Antonio, the man who allegedly murdered his ex-girlfriend and confessed to the crime on social media, has been postponed to next week Friday for bail application.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So coming up, we would like to give you a chance to win tickets to the Festival of Motoring. It's going to be fabulous. It's simple. All you have to do is this. WhatsApp a voice note to 072 702 1702 and tell us that thing about the car you currently drive that you absolutely love the most. What's the feature of your vehicle that is your absolute favorite? Tell us the ride it's from, the name of the car, of course, and tell us, most importantly, what gets your heart racing. If you persuade us of your passion for that part of your car and what it does for your daily drive, well, we could be giving you a call back, and that could mean that you are off with a companion of your choice. That doesn't include the car, by the way, in addition to the car, to the Festival of Motoring. Get in touch, 072 702 1702.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What are your concerns around the anti-gang unit?
The specialized unit in South Africa that does the most dangerous work. They also ran a report on some similar shortages in other specialized units elsewhere in the country. But really, it's hard to think of a unit doing more dangerous work than the anti-gang unit in Cape Town. And there they are, going into a gunfight without any weapons. That is outrageous. And so that's what prompted it.
Mayor of Cape Town, Jordan Hill-Lewis.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
At Premier Hotels and Resorts, business travelers staying alone enjoy a complimentary drink every night of their stay. So, whatever your tipple, it's on the house at any of our 24 hotels and resorts nationwide. Book today at premierhotels.co.za.
Herschel Gibbs here with more than just a crypto ad. Crypto payments are now live on 10bet. And there's more. Download the app, deposit, and get an extra 5% in cash. The future of betting, faster, safer, and smoother. Play now at 10bet.co.za. 10bet is a licensed betting operator and supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 shall be permitted to bet. Betting can be addictive. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
John, this is Janice. I enjoyed hearing Jonathan Fairburns because that is the same one that our family uses. We say, that'll do, pig, that'll do.
Hi, John. The movie line that I use most of the times, especially at work, is when someone asks me if there's a problem, I just say, there's no problem, just Rush Hour, from the movie Rush Hour. I think Arabo must use it for his traffic. Thanks, bye.
Yeah, and we'll get his traffic shortly. That one's great. I didn't even know that line. Fatima says, "Show me the money." Tom Cruise in Jerry Maguire. Muhlomi gives quite a detailed explanation, but it's a good one. The line is, "If you have to shoot, shoot. Don't talk." And the context is this. He says, this line, which I always use to emphasize a point, is by Tuko, the character played by Eli Wallach. Is that how you pronounce it? In the Western classic, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Tuko had been cornered by an adversary who chose to deliver a sermon instead of shooting, thus offering Tuko an escape route, reminding us once again that actions speak louder than words. Nicholas has an absolute gem and says, Scar in The Lion King. Life's not fair, Simba. I mean, I can picture, I don't know if it would be children or grandchildren or maybe colleagues. Life's not fair, Simba. Anyway, this one I cannot quote in its full marvelousness from MC, who says, the movie line is assumption is the mother of all, let's call it mess-ups. And it's Steven Seagal from the movie Under Siege. Keep those coming, please. And as I said before, if you want to deliver the line in the manner in which you heard the line delivered by whatever movie or TV star it was, well, that earns you extra points, which count, I have to be honest, towards absolutely nothing, except we'll enjoy it. And hopefully that will add to your enjoyment. 072 702 1702, that movie line that is now something that you love so much that you made it part of your everyday parlance, you're part of your conversation. 18 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
Let's get the latest then from the world of sport. Kieran Thompson joining us.
A very good afternoon to you. I'm Kieran Thompson. We kick things off in rugby, where Rassie Erasmus named a 36-man Springbok squad for their upcoming tour to New Zealand. South Africa will tackle the All Blacks in back-to-back tests on the 6th and 13th of September. As expected, Coach Rassie selected his tried and tested with 20 forwards and 16 backs. The Bok coach retained a large part of his previous 38-man squad, with wingers Kurtley Arendse and Edwil van der Merwe out injured and utility forward Kobus Wiese on standby. The squad will jet off to New Zealand tomorrow. Staying with the world champions, Prop Asenati in Tlabakanye has tested positive for a banned substance and will miss the tour to New Zealand. SA Rugby didn't disclose the substance he tested for, but confirmed that the substance in question was supplied by a physician and is not a performance-enhancing drug. Sidestepping to the Springbok women now, South Africa made a thunderous start to their Rugby World Cup campaign by running in 10 tries against Brazil in Northampton on Sunday. Here's Nolusindiso Boy.
We're playing for something special, we're playing for something bigger, we're playing for our fans at home, we're playing for our supporters. And even here we could see the crowd, we could hear the crowd that it was something special. And for us to not letting any team try against us, it was something beautiful.
In the golfing world, Tommy Fleetwood finally got his hands on a PGA Tour title after winning the FedEx Cup by 2 shots on Sunday. Fleetwood ended his long wait on his 164th attempt after a handful of agonizing near misses this season. Racing over to MotoGP now, Marc Marquez won the Hungarian Grand Prix ahead of Pedro Acosta in second to continue his golden run in the championship this season. South Africa's Brad Binder secured a 7th place finish for the second weekend in a row. We wrap things up in the world of football with a look at Sunday's Premier League action. Manchester United scored first at Craven Cottage but were held to a 1-1 draw by Fulham, while Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest also drew 1-1. And Everton ushered in the new era at the Hill Dickinson Stadium with a 2-0 win over Brighton. Kieran Thompson, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Tough in the traffic if you're out in the El Dorado Park area. Karabo Chale has the details.
Well, at this stage, it's not clear what's causing this delay in the Aldos area on the N12 westbound from the N1 to the Golden Highway. It's been like this since midday. So if you're on that route, please let us know. WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702. There's also bumper-to-bumper traffic due to roadworks in the Devland area. This is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Bedford View heading towards Germiston, slow-moving traffic on the N3 southbound between Linksfield Road and Van Buren. Also heading towards Bedford View in the Edenvale area, traffic sluggish on the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Giluli's interchange, and in Boksburg. Traffic remains heavily backed up on Rondebolt Road approaching the N17. I'll have your next Eyewitness News traffic update just after 4.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Buckle up. It's time to get those engines roaring and score an epic day out with the Festival of Motoring on 702.
702 is putting you in the driver's seat for the Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank. You could win VIP tickets. WhatsApp us a voice note to 072 702 1702. Tell us your favorite car feature, the ride it's from, and why it makes your heart race. Share what makes your motor run at full throttle, and we could be calling you back. Grab your tickets at howler.co.za and use promo code RADIO for a special discount. Don't miss out. It's the roar, the excitement, and the ultimate motoring vibe only on 702. The roar of engines, the scent of rubber on tarmac, and the pulse of innovation. Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank, returns for its 8th edition at the iconic Kailami Grand Prix circuit from 29 to 31 August. Rooted in the African philosophy of Ubuntu, I am because we are, the 2025 edition champions community, collaboration, and creativity. With over 100 exhibitors and 22 premier automotive brands on board, it promises to be the most immersive festival yet. Get your tickets now at howler.co.za and, as I said, use promo code RADIO for a special discount. So, here we go. We have someone who wants to go to the Festival of Motoring and has a car that has something about it that they absolutely love. Lungile is on the line from Midrand. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. John. How are you doing?
Doing well, thanks, and you. So tell us, first of all, what your car is, but crucially, what is it about the car, the key feature that just makes you feel, darn, I'm glad I bought this?
So mine is a GTI 7. So the feature that I love about the car mostly is those changing in settings in terms of you can put it on sport mode,
right,
normal mode, comfort mode, as well as eco. So what I love about that is that when I'm driving in town, mostly it's eco and it saves me petrol. But when I'm driving out to Mpumalanga on the highway, that's when I engage my sport mode, and that's actually when the fun starts happening.
Well, I can't send you to Mpumalanga so you can engage Sports Note, but Lungile, I can send you to the Festival of Motoring, because congratulations, you have won VIP tickets. You're going to have a fabulous time there thanks to the Festival of Motoring on 702. Thanks for your call and keep enjoying your ride as much as you clearly do. It's 11 minutes to 4.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, good afternoon. I love it when a plane comes together. Mohammed Kempton Park.
Hi, John. My favorite line from a movie that I use all the time is "Go sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here." Said by Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets. And by the way, Jonathan, I also do use "That'll Do Pig" all the time.
So Jack Nicholson is absolutely out in front in movie lines that people absolutely like. If you have just joined us, by the way, the question we asked earlier, what's a line from a movie or a TV series that has just found its way into your conversation, into the way you use language and a point that you are trying to make? This one from Robert, this is great as well. Moira from Schitt's Creek. And yes, if you heard that, but you don't know, it's spelled SCHITTS, so please don't ring to complain. Gossip is the devil's telephone. Best to just hang up. Also, Robert continues, David, from the same show, if somebody's dating someone new, you aren't too sure about it, so you like the wine, but not the label. Mine is, well, I've got a few, but one that comes to mind is from a TV show. Anyone watch Boardwalk Empire? I thought it was terrifically good. There's a character in the movie, Nucky Thompson, who's played by Steve Buscemi. He's nominally a city official, but he's a crook involved in the liquor trade in the Prohibition years, and he's getting hammered from all sides. All his various adversaries, including people like Al Capone, are coming after him, and he says, I don't know what to do. And there's another character who is, in fact, a real character from history, Arnold Rothstein, a New York mobster, who says to him, you do nothing. You have no move. And I say that to myself quite often because I do think some of the bigger mistakes I've made in my life has been because I'm anxious. I feel I must act, but I don't know what I'm going to do. And in the case, I had no move. So I love that. And when I remember, I say to myself, you do nothing. You have no move. It's 9 minutes to 4.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Right, so Braais over the weekend, I'm sure, for many of you. Braais planned coming up a little bit later. I have no doubt there are many. But your braai, if you've got one planned for the 6th of September, and you ought to, Springboks play the All Blacks. There are 4 teams in the Rugby Championship. All of them have won a game. Slight difference on the bonus points. But this is a huge game for us. What better than a braai afterwards? And a braai has to have boerewors. And if it's going to be boerewors, well, it may as well be the best boerewors in the country. The top spot in the 33rd Shoprite and Checkers Championship boerewors finale. This was held in Cape Town on Saturday. The South African Chefs Association, no less, painstakingly evaluating everything that the finalists had put into their wors, came up with a winner. The winner is Roberto Rui Agrela, who is a car salesman from Paarl, and he's with us now. Roberto Rui, congratulations. Well done on producing South Africa's best boerewors for 2025. How long have you been making your own sausage?
Yeah, so this would be the first time ever. Yeah, so
okay.
I entered as a first time newbie, and I guess the first time was the charm. So.
Yeah, so as you said about doing it, so you're brand new at this. It's not as if you're saying, well, last year I put in too much of this or too little of that. I'm going to give it a tweak. What was your plan? Did you have one?
Actually, yeah, no plan at all. It was a spur of a moment thing on a Sunday afternoon, writing in for competition. It all actually started with a song called Boerewors for Dane from Robbie Wessels and Apple that basically sparked this idea.
Okay, what we're going to do is I really want to hear how Roberto Rui got this done, but the line is just not giving us the help we would like. So let's come back to Roberto Rui. We'll call him back. We'll be straight back with boerewors secrets from the man who has none and had no plan.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
So John, this is AB. So the tagline I like to use with my wife, we ride together, we die together. This is from Bad Boys for Life.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Jack Bloom from the DA says we may find that one day that this cancer scandal has killed more people than life esidimeni. Remember the 144 odd patients? This is over 3,000 cancer patients who needed radiation, who didn't get it, who needed treatment, who didn't get it. I think everybody in Gauteng Health, certainly in the leadership of Gauteng Health, all the way to the Premier's office, they should hang their heads in shame.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Every day I'm hustling. It's our reality as business owners. And it's good to know that there's someone out there who takes care of the business that makes the business. Gotta love My Way Business Insurance. Saving big on premiums with 24/7 emergency services, plus My Business Assist with marketing, legal, and labor advice services.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Hollywood Bets is bringing you a bounty of prizes with Spina Zonke prize drops. Gear up to unravel an endless supply of treasures and claim fantastic riches with a chance to win an amazing share of 2.5 million rand in cash and prizes. All you have to do is bet 2 rand or more on selected pragmatic play games on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays between 12:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. Feel the ultimate thrill when you log in for a spin and bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Are you ready to explore your beautiful country in style? With Lekker Slaap's user-friendly accommodation booking app, finding the perfect stay has never been easier. Whether you're dreaming of a beach escape, a bush retreat, or a city adventure, Lekker Slaap has you covered with thousands of stays for every budget. Join millions of happy South Africans who book their stays on Lekker Slaap. Download the Lekker Slaap app today and easily book your next holiday.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Right, let's get back to the champion boerewors and the man who made it, Roberto Rui Agrela, on the line with us. You were saying, Roberto Rui, that you didn't go into it with any particular plan, but at least give us a sense of what you did to get going.
Well, basically, I think sometimes in life, simplicity is best. So
Yes.
I didn't go with this to make it overcomplicated. So I went with the traditional boerewors. And I just kept it plain and simple, good quality meat, good quality spices, and I guess that worked.
And tell me, did you make a few batches, and then make some tweaks, have some mates around or family and say, hey, tell me what you think of this, or did you think that might have been too much noise and you just went solo?
Yeah, actually not at all. Yeah, so on the day when I actually made the wors for competition, was the first time making this specific batch of wors. Even the chef from the chef association that was overseeing it, he also had a really surprised look, but he said that could be maybe the winner. So.
Yeah. What are you going to do next? Is this a one-off, or do you see yourself branching into food at the moment? You're involved in the car sales business, and any sudden ambitions in the cooking and food space?
Well, it definitely sparked the interest. I'm definitely going to explore this further. Definitely interested in making more wors. I think my day job is still going to be the same. I still love selling vehicles and working with my customers and clients. I don't think I'm going to leave this day job yet, but I do think that wors making will be another add-on for a side hustle, basically.
I'm keen to know what's going on in the Western Cape, because we cover this every year, and there's always a couple of people in the finalists from Wellington. There are two this year. You're from Paarl in the Western Cape. We had somebody else who's from Swellendam. What's going on in the Western Cape there?
I think the Boerland is definitely known for its wine, but that's not where it ends. We are people that love to braai, and I mean, what's lackerer than a wors on the braai? I mean, I think that's basically it. I think our people here there's something in the water, and we just love the culture that's behind braaiing and making wors. Yeah.
Have you, since you've got to work, do you have customers and workmates who now say, listen, any spares, can you pop around? We're having a braai, we'd love it. It's a bring and braai, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, actually I had a couple of phone calls, some people joking about and asking if they can buy some boerewors rolls, or making appointments that Friday afternoon that hopefully is becoming a tradition now, that I'm going to make the boerewors rolls for all of the clients. Yeah.
Your name suggests Portuguese heritage. Was there anything in the food that you grew up with, if I'm correct in that, that found its way into the product?
Well, yes, I do have some Portuguese heritage, but yeah, I'm a local. I was born here. I live and breathe South Africa. So even though my Portuguese heritage is deep, and I love that, I think, but when it comes to boerewors, there's nothing else than boerewors. You can't get anything else anywhere. So it stays local, with all local ingredients, and it was very traditional. Yeah.
And just one last question. I mean, the way you described it, you kind of, arguably it was all right on the night. You didn't spend hours in the lab, so to speak, but presumably you wrote down exactly what you did so it can be replicated. This will never just be a one-off.
No, definitely. I've got the recipe sealed now. They did ask me if it was a family secret recipe, and
Yes.
I told them, well, it's definitely going to be one right now. So
Fantastic, and congratulations. Ons gaan lekker braai, and really appreciate having your time today. Roberto Rui Agrela is from Paarl. He's in the car sales business, decided to have a go at making boerewors, and is South Africa's new boerewors champion. Top spot in the 33rd Shoprite and Checkers Championship Boerewors Finale. Do you make your own? Give us a call about that. Maybe you've got a story to tell. I bet you do. Go on. It's 4:00.
This is EWN.
Police search for clues in the gruesome discovery of 5 bodies at an open mine in the northwest, and Higher Education Department accused of overreaching in appointment of CETA administrators. Good afternoon, I'm Maki Molapo. We begin in the northwest, where police are currently combing through a scene where 5 bodies have been discovered at an open pit mine in Tlatlaganyane village. Authorities confirmed all 5 men were shot, but the circumstances of the murders remain unclear at this stage. A multidisciplinary team is currently on scene to gather information and evidence that would not only help unravel the cause of the murders, but also help identify the perpetrators. Northwest Police spokesperson Sabata Mkhwabone says while the area is notorious for clashes between illegal miners, he says it's too soon to link the murders to ongoing turf wars.
As such, the police will conduct an extensive investigation that will ensure that those responsible are identified and arrested.
Construction Education CETA CEO Malusi Shezi has accused the Higher Education Department of overreaching following the appointment of administrators at 3 embattled CETAs. Last week, Higher Education and Training Minister Butima Namela appointed 3 administrators to help turn around the local government, construction and services CETAs. But the process has again been marred by claims of irregularities. Shezi says there are no indicators of governance failure at the CETA that would place it in the department's crosshairs. The minister has since enlisted the Public Service Commission to vet the newly appointed administrators after facing backlash over claims of irregularities in the process. Speaking on 702 earlier today, Shezi added to criticism about inconsistencies while denying claims of maladministration.
Section 15 is very clear that you can place a CETA under administration, 1, if there is financial mismanagement of its finances, 2, if it's failing to discharge its responsibilities and function in terms of the Skills Act. The other one is extreme, which also still there must be clear reasons. So at this stage, we can't state other than what is said in the statement.
Meanwhile, Manamela has directed 3 embattled CETAs to publish a 90-day stabilization plan with clear and measurable indicators in an effort to address inefficiencies at the CETAs. Please note the following story contains disturbing details of a violent nature. Following viral circulation of a gruesome video showing the dead body of a woman in the northwest, some gender-based activists are calling for the footage to be used as evidence in court. Police believe 20-year-old Gaugelo Marota was killed by her former lover Lazarus Antonio, who filmed and posted the disturbing footage on his social media accounts. It's alleged after leaving the bloody scene, he later used a knife to attack his current girlfriend, who was hospitalized after the ordeal. Antonio was arrested last Friday, a day after the alleged violent attacks. Today, he appeared before the Temba Magistrates Court, where he stated his intention to apply for bail. Gender activist Vicky Lamula says the footage should help fast-track the case.
We do have a video that is going viral. That video is viral. It is proof. He's got a confession there. What we say, we don't want bail. And we also want to fight for the lady that is in hospital.
The matter has been postponed to the 5th of September. In the courts, the lawyer for an accused in the Senzo Meyiwa trial who's seeking acquittal has told the Pretoria High Court that there are no witnesses placing him at the scene of the crime. Mthokoziseni Mapisa has brought a Section 174 discharge application to the Pretoria High Court. He believes that the state has not led enough evidence to secure a conviction against him. Mapisa and 5 others are being tried for Meyiwa's 2014 murder at the home of his girlfriend in Vosloorus on the East Rand. Khomotso Modise has more.
Mthokoziseni Mapisa's lawyer, advocate Zitulele Nxumalo, has spent hours poking holes in the state's case in a bid to convince the court that there is no case against his client. In the evidence led by the state, a witness, Constable Sizwe Zungu, claimed he saw Mapisa at the Basotho hostel in Vosloorus on the day that Senzo Meyiwa was killed, together with the other accused, and he claims to have seen him in the same group again in the evening just after the Bafana Bafana captain's murder. But Nxumalo has highlighted the evidence given by the neighbors and witnesses who testified that they saw the intruders running away from the house where Meyiwa was shot.
There is no witness or witnesses that place accused number 4 at or near the scene of crime. The witnesses who testified viva voce before this court did not implicate accused number 4 as one of the intruders.
If the court agrees with Mapisa, the charges against him will be dropped and he'll be acquitted. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News at the Pretoria High Court.
Still in the courts in the Western Cape, technical issues have again delayed proceedings in the high-profile murder trial related to steroid king Brian Weinstein. Alleged Underworld gang boss Jerome Donkey Boyson and 11 others are on trial for Weinstein's murder in 2017. Alleged Underworld figures Mark Liffman and Andrew Nodier, along with 3 other accused, have been killed since the trial started early last year. Carla Peterson has more.
A trial within a trial for the court to decide whether cell phone recordings can be used as evidence against alleged Underworld gang boss Jerome Boyson and his 11 co-accused continue today. Proceedings were delayed last week after a file containing some of the recordings extracted from the phones of Boyson and the now deceased Andre Nodier and Mark Liffman was found to be corrupted. Today, proceedings were again delayed after a crime intelligence colonel testifying about the recordings could not play them from his laptop. State Prosecutor Nathan Adrianza explained to the court why the software being used was so complex.
I inquired from the member of OIC that I spoke to, and he said it's because of the fact that if this laptop is to come into the wrong hands, the ordinary person would not be able to know how to use the software that is on the laptop.
The matter will be back in the Western Cape High Court tomorrow. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And as over a dozen serious wildfires are still burning in Spain, authorities say efforts are progressing slowly, particularly due to reignition. 4 people have died during the wildfires that have hit the country this month, destroying large areas of land. The Civil Protection Service says there are 14 active wildfires that pose a danger to people and property, down from 18 on Saturday. While winds have been more intense and temperatures higher today, forecasts for improved weather tomorrow could help firefighters contain the blazes. Gold's trading at $3,372.54 an ounce. The rand's at 17.56 to the dollar, at 23.72 to the pound, at 20.55 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $68.60 a barrel.
In the sporting world, Rassie Erasmus names his 36-man squad for their tour to New Zealand. A crunch clash in the Premier League sees Newcastle United hosting champions Liverpool, and results from round 1 of the US Open.
Eldorado Park, you can still expect about a 30-minute delay on the N12 westbound from the N1 to the Golden Highway. Daveland roadworks also causing heavy delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue, and in Durban, deep slow-moving traffic on Randfontein Road between Miles Stalker and Corlett Avenue.
Look at your weather. Clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 29 and 31 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. Northwest Police are currently combing through a scene where 5 bodies have been discovered at an open pit mine in Tlatlaganyane village.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive. It's good to have you with us on the show. It's 9 minutes past 4. Hope you've had a good Monday on the back of what I hope was a good weekend. The beginning of the week, the first day of the week, almost behind you, for most people at least. Some people, like my colleagues, like Stephen Kritzis, will be working well into the evening. He's with us, by the way, at 25 minutes past 4. But either way, I hope the Monday's been good so far. Coming up on the show, we're going to be focusing on a story that really has disturbed a lot of people. It's to do with the fact that jobs have been advertised. South Africans basically have been lured to Russia under entirely false pretenses. And they have found themselves working under very, very dire circumstances indeed. We're going to talk about that a little bit later when we chat to my guest on that. Let me just make sure I get the title right. Emma van der Walt, founder and CEO of an organization called Brave to Love. And this has got very serious, with the Department of International Relations and Cooperation issuing warnings about people about going to Russia for this job. There was a similar situation in Myanmar a year or so back. That story coming up shortly. But if you've had experience yourself of taking up a job in a foreign country and finding that, if it was as good as you'd hoped for, well, I'd love to hear about that. But if you yourself found yourself exploited in ways that were not in any way made clear when you signed up. Give us a call and share your experiences on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. On a lighter note, we've been asking you about lines from movies or TV series, not the favorite ones that you absolutely love. That's a different category and we'll talk about it some other day. But ones that you actually use, that you've applied to situations and conversations on a regular basis. Justin says, I use an adaptation of a famous line from the movie The Sixth Sense. In the movie, the kid whispers, "I see dead people." I like to whisper to my partner, "I see stupid people." Good thing you're whispering, Justin. 702 Drive. Let's hear a few more of your contributions on that.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, and Tate John and the rest of 702 land. On movie quotes that have infiltrated daily life, I have a twofer. The first one, living away from home at the moment, is "There's no place like home, there's no place like home." And then the second one is, whenever I encounter a problem or deal with somebody encountering a problem, I always tell myself or them, "You're going to need a bigger boat." Have a great afternoon, everyone.
You're going to need a bigger boat. I'm going to have to check where that comes from. Save me the trouble. If you know, drop me a note on 072 702 1702. Yeah, we're getting lots and lots of nice ones. I'm going to include as many of those as I possibly can. Here's the latest one from Andre, who says it's from the movie Man on Fire. That was Denzel Washington, I think. And the line is, "Explain it to me like I'm a 4-year-old. Yeah, I think I might borrow that. I can think of plenty of uses. 13 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Karabo Chale is the man keeping an eye on what's happening out on the roads. Eldorado Park was bad. Eldorado Park sounds like it's either as bad or worse.
It's getting worse, John, I'm afraid. It's Eldorado Park. Expect about a 30-minute delay now on the N12 westbound between the N1 and the Golden Highway. Devland roadworks also causing heavy delays. This is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue, while in Durban Deep, that's in the Roodepoort area. Slow-moving traffic on Randfontein Road between Miles Stoker and Corlett Avenue, while in Bedford View, traveling towards Germiston, slow-moving traffic on the N3 southbound. This is between Linksfield Road and Van Buren. Also in Edenville, heading into Bedford View, expect some delays on the R24 westbound. This is between Edenville Road and the Giluli's interchange, while in Boksburg, in the Sunwood Park area, we still have roadworks slowing down traffic on Rondapult Road. This is approaching the N17. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a parent shuttling his kids, with a back seat full of chatter, laughter, lunchboxes, and lost shoes. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a regular yet special slice of a family's life. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. 702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
So then what is the difference between those parents that come home and continue their days and their conversations as per normal, and the parents that come home in a bad mood and, you know, the kids now want to retreat or they're scared to talk? Like, what is the difference? What are each of those individuals doing differently?
Children are biologically programmed to want to associate and align with their parents for their survival. And so when children are exposed to uncomfortable or unpleasant emotions, and it's paired with a sensation of there's going to be a threat to my survival, they can start cycling through different kinds of survival responses in order to cope with the perceived threat.
Dr. Jeannie Cavey, clinical psychologist.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Ready to lead and make our world a better place, Regenesis School of Education proudly launches its revolutionary Bachelor of Education program. They don't just develop teachers, they develop conscious leaders equipped with IQ, STEM, AI, and emotional intelligence. Study in the heart of Sandton or online worldwide with a world-class faculty trusted by over 1,000 corporations and 500,000 alumni from 150 countries. Enroll now at regenesis.net/education. Regenesis School of Education, awakening potential.
Choose the best. The new Huawei Pura 80 series. The master of photography. A super sensor with precision zoom. Stay sharp from dawn to dusk with a superior 1-inch ultralighting camera and ultralighting macro telephoto lens. The master of color, enhancing every frame with vibrant color and incredible clarity. Tricky lighting? No problem. Take portraits against the light with every face perfectly illuminated. It's more than a phone. It's a professional studio in your pocket. Go beyond with Huawei Pura 80 series.
Dear Journal, day 4602 of trying to be an adult. My doctor asked me how my quality of rest is at the moment. I told him I have two problems. I struggle to sleep at night, but I also struggle to awake at day.
Aggressively realizing your age? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's simple and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
The Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank, brings the spirit of Ubuntu to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit from the 29th to the 31st of August. Experience thrilling track drives, 4x4 adventures, drifting, supercar hot laps, and F1 demos. Get your tickets on Howler and use the promo code RADIO for a special discount. The Festival of Motoring, the power of new.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
18 minutes past 4. Well, very much in the spotlight has been an announcement by the Department of International Relations and Cooperation warning young South Africans to exercise caution when engaging with online job advertisements. Now, this is prompted by the flagging of a particular advert by a former Democratic Alliance Member of Parliament, Phumzile van Dam, who called on X for an investigation into a program which recruits young women to travel to Russia for, quote, training and work. What is emerging increasingly is that this trip to Russia, which would have, according to the promo on social media delivered by prominent South African influencers, was nothing of the kind, that they would be put to work in a factory in a place called Alabuga, where they were assembling. This is a special economic zone, and they have been working under very difficult and dangerous conditions. This, by the way, is an issue in other parts of the world as well. So what's going on here, and why are people so susceptible to this, and what are the warning signs that too good to be true, it probably isn't true? Easy to say, but not always clear to people who are really looking and have often been looking for a long time for some kind of opportunity. Well, someone with vast experience in that space is Emma van der Walt. She is founder and CEO of the organization Brave to Love, and over many years, they've been focused on helping people who have been trafficked for sexual purposes. And she joins us now on the show. Ms. van der Walt, welcome, and thanks very much for your time. When you heard about this issue around the Russian advertising of these so-called opportunities, I'm putting that in inverted commas, in Russia, what were your thoughts? Is there anything new here, or is it an old, tried and tested route to exploitation and trouble?
No, so we need to understand when it comes to exploitation or human trafficking or modern-day slavery, we're looking at three aspects. We're looking at recruitment,
right,
then transportation, and then we look at the exploitation that takes place. So the first phase is always the recruitment phase.
Mm-hmm.
So this is concerning for us because on a global scale, we need to look at high-risk countries at this point. We know about the South Africans that were trafficked to Myanmar via Thailand for false jobs into scamming compounds. Russia is extremely high for trafficking. We know on a global level how many of the females are trafficked to Europe for sexual exploitation. So it's a very high-risk country. We know also globally that looking at syndicates all over the world, that a lot of times human trafficking will fund war or terrorism, and this is why it's such a high-risk country to go for job opportunities.
Yeah. So the warning signals. I mean, obviously, doing it for as long as you have, with the very clear focus that you've had at Brave to Love, are there clear signals when this thing is potentially trouble?
Definitely, yes, because we're looking at the age range. So we need to understand sex trafficking is still the highest form of trafficking. Labor trafficking is picking up. And yes, we're looking at factories and exploitation, even happening in South Africa and globally. But because of the age between 18 and 25 or around there, I mean, that's a high risk. A lot of we're looking at the demand, the demand in the sex trade. So you've got sex buyers that want, there's a demand for a female that age. So, which makes it higher that a trafficker will always isolate their victim or the person that they're preying on. So using false advertising. And then when they isolate, when they cross border, where do they call? And then a lot of times they actually transition to other countries, not Russia. The end destination is not necessarily Russia, but it's a very high risk. And what the public is what they need to understand. I know our unemployment rate is extremely high, but if you are young and you're going to work overseas, please make contact with DIRCO or the Human Traffic Hotline. Actually verifies international jobs for you, so that you don't get yourself into a situation like that.
I'm just wondering at what point the reality kicks in, because presumably the people who are luring young people and young women, it would seem in particular in this way, need to make it persuasive for as long as they possibly can before anyone becomes suspicious and says, whoa, I'm bailing out. I mean, at what point does a harsh reality kick in? Literally when you are in Russia, if that's the country involved, at your first day of work, or do they drag it out longer than that?
So I think what is important, when it seems too good to be true, it usually is. And a lot of times these victims, because they're so desperate for jobs and for money, that you are, and the process can be very fast. I know with our Myanmar victims, it was sometimes in 3 days. The money was paid into their account for a flight ticket, and they were off. And even when they got to Thailand airport, they were picked up by a very glamorous car, traveled for 8 hours. But then when they wake up from the hotel, when they were smuggled over the river by militia, with guns, that's when the reality kicked in. And it's like, listen, this is not a normal job. And when they get to the other side, this is scamming. So a lot of times in the beginning, they will even use females to recruit. That looks lucrative, that's their strategy. But it's criminal. It's for the purpose of exploiting human beings.
And just finally, I mean, how do we find a balance here? Because needless to say, job opportunities are scarce in South Africa. People are looking for that break. And there must be genuine stuff out there where opportunities really are real and no abuse or intention to abuse is actually contemplated by the people doing the recruiting. How do we keep those kind of hopes alive while avoiding these terrible risks?
Yeah, so I think making sure, because on social media is not a safe platform to look for recruitment. It's not a safe platform. And I think we need to make sure that the agency for recruitment are legitimate, make sure that the background checks is done. That's why I'm saying the Human Traffic Hotline actually does that function for people that want to travel abroad. But make sure that social media is really a bad place to find a job. It's facts on the table. Whichever. We've seen even within South Africa. So make sure that you can use through agencies and things that are legitimized and a safe route.
Thank you so much. Emma van der Walt is founder and CEO of an organization, Brave to Love. Look them up on Google and check out the website. There's some important information there. And indeed, perhaps if you are looking to exercise some caution before engaging with anything you see on social media, not a bad place to start. 702 Drive, it's 4:25.
Oh, Shane, do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers two options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual-action soothing relief. But for a painful, inflamed throat, use Andalex C lozenges for triple-action pain relief. Andalex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andalex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andalex it.
Hi everyone, I'm Dean McPherson, the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure. Since I was appointed just over a year ago, we've laid a firm foundation in the department, and after tabling our 7.6 billion rand budget for growth, we're now turning plans into action. That means that we're moving government departments into our own state-owned buildings to save you billions of rands in rent. We're unlocking public land to build affordable housing, create shelters for victims of gender-based violence, and to boost food production. We're also tackling corruption head-on without fear or favor. And we're giving young South Africans real opportunities through a reformed EPWP program that focuses on skills and long-term jobs. And this is only the beginning. With your support, we're building a capable and professional department that delivers infrastructure, creates jobs, and puts public assets to work for the public good. The best is yet to come because we're building a better country for you, brick by brick.
Zinzi, the Gen Z. Word on the street is you sold your car.
Yes, and you know I needed a glow up. Hashtag no hustle, no hassle.
So wait. The influencer got influenced by We Buy Cars.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And they came to me. Checked the car, they gave me an offer. Oh, and they paid me immediately. Easier than an Insta Live, without the weird DMs at 2 a.m.
I didn't understand half of the things you just said, but hey, We Buy Cars. Geared for the glow up, geared for you.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What are your concerns around the anti-gang unit?
The specialized unit in South Africa that does the most dangerous work. They also ran a report on some similar shortages in other specialized units elsewhere in the country. But really, it's hard to think of a unit doing more dangerous work than the anti-gang unit in Cape Town. And there they are, going into a gunfight without any weapons. That is outrageous. And so that's what prompted it.
Mayor of Cape Town, Jordan Hill-Lewis.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702. EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. The beginning of the week. What kind of trade are we seeing so far?
Good afternoon, John. Yeah, a very, very busy week, actually. It's a busy day. It's a kind of results Monday money show, if you know what I mean. And so the JSE reacting to that to an extent. Also, I think, reacting to a weaker dollar. So the JSE, the all share is up 0.32% at 103,055 points. If you're wondering, John, that is a record high. There'll be hopefully lots of record highs still to come. Financials down 0.92, industrials up 0.29, resources up 2% on the day. Gold and platinum share prices are doing quite nicely at the moment. Various stories of the day, though. Sasol's up nearly 11% on the day, reporting today that it made a profit again. Its headline earnings nearly doubled to 22 billion rand. Still trying to bring down its dollar debt, though. The company saying it was hit by a big drop in the rand oil price. That pushed EBITDA down by around 14%. This is a company that, if you look at their share price, has gone up by around 26% or so on the year, probably a bit more since the start of trading today, but still is sort of down by around 24% or so over the last year. So yeah, very interesting to watch what's happening with Sasol. We'll speak to their CEO, Simon Baloy, later tonight and ask him about the vision for the company. Italtel up nearly 7%, despite reporting its turnover being 2% down. Its headline earnings per share were up just 2%. So there's been a small increase in retail revenue, so selling tiles. A reduction in its trade business, though. It does have quite large cash reserves. Its market cap's around 15 billion rand. It has cash reserves of around 2 billion rand. So it's announced a special dividend from that. It is forecasting quite a long period of low economic growth. Goldfields is up 4.65%. The Motus group, the car group, they're up nearly 4%. And then some of the gold miners, DRD Gold, Exaro, both up by over 3% on the day. John, I don't know when you last went through an AXA airport. I think it might have been quite recently. They've doubled their profits to 1.1 billion rand to the end of March. I think that's the highest airports company South Africa's ever had. Yes. Their revenue was up 13%. The question, of course, is, are they going to spend the money on the airports? I don't know what experience you had.
Something's good, something's not as good. I'd have to think carefully about it because I'd need more than one trip to kind of gauge. I know there are big investment plans on the table, so I don't know if the profit goes into that or whether that comes from tax.
So, yes, they're going to spend, you're right actually, they're going to spend around 21 billion rand on our major airports over the next 5 years. They spent in the last financial year 861 million rand. So there's going to be a huge difference. I mean, we're going to see a lot more money going into our airports. And if you think of the problems we've had with air traffic control systems, which is not them, by the way, that's air traffic navigation services at East London. There are a lot of things going on in our aviation industry at the moment. Brick and Pay is down 3.23%. Nedbank, Mr. Price, Telkom all down by around 2%. Some of the consumer shares like Truworths and Bidvest also down by around the same at the moment. In the US, the main indices opening slightly lower, so there was a bit of a jump on Friday after what seemed to be comments from the chair of the US Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, that there would be an interest rate cut in September. Markets retreating from that a bit. The Dow Jones is down 0.34%. The Nasdaq is down 0.03%. The S&P 500 is down 0.17%. And the gold price, $3,372.63 an ounce. Platinum, $1,353.70. Brent crude, $68.50. That'll help Sasol. And then the rand to the dollar, quite strong, John. The dollar's down, I think, 9.6% against a basket of major currencies on the year. The rand to the dollar, 17.56. To the euro, 20.55. To the British pound, 23.72. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. 28 minutes to 5, the latest Eyewitness News. Marky Molapo, good afternoon again.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. We begin in the Western Cape, where 3 people have died and 6 others injured in 2 separate taxi shooting incidents this morning in Cape Town. In the first incident, 6 adult men were shot at a taxi rank on Nkwangi Drive in Philippi East. 2 men died in the attack, while 3 taxi drivers are in critical condition and a passenger is currently stable in hospital. The second shooting took place at the Vuyani taxi rank in Kaeli, where 1 taxi driver was killed and 2 others were wounded. Police spokesperson Malcolm Boyke says the motives for these attacks are believed to be related to taxi conflicts.
Philippi East has subsequently opened 2 counts of murder and 4 of attempted murder. The suspects fled the scene in an unknown getaway vehicle in both instances and are yet to be arrested.
Parliament's Home Affairs committees will soon be faced with the decision of recommending 3 candidates to fill upcoming vacancies at the Electoral Commission. On Friday, Chief Justice Mandi Samaya forwarded the names of 8 candidates to Parliament following last month's interview process. These include 2 of the commissioners whose 7-year terms are due to end. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
The terms of Electoral Commission Chair Masutu Mepia, retired Judge Daya Pillay and Nomsa Masuku will end in 2 months' time, leaving Parliament little time to make its recommendations to the President as to who should replace them. Mepia, a former CEO of the Electoral Commission, is seeking reappointment, as is Judge Pillay. At least one of the IEC's commissioners has to be a judge, pitting Judge Pillay against the former Deputy Judge President of the KwaZulu-Natal bench, Justice Mjabuliseni Madondo. Parliament says it's now received Maya's letter and the matter has been referred to the Home Affairs Portfolio Committee to deliberate on the names they will submit to the National Assembly for endorsement and then onwards to the President for appointment. In 2018, the committee chose to invite public comment on the shortlisted names before making their choices, but not in 2023, when it also filled a vacancy. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Basic Education Minister Siviwe Kwagube has emphasized the importance of early childhood development, saying it can't be considered an optional extra. She says the G20 Education Working Group has now put this fundamental phase of schooling at the heart of its agenda, and South Africa must play a leading role in improving the sector nationally and globally as the G20 chair. Kwagube was addressing the G20 Basic Education Special Indaba in Century City in Cape Town today. Babalo Ndenza reports.
Minister Siviwe Kwagube says foundation learning is imperative for learners when developing skills in literacy and numeracy. She says when the country gets the foundations right, there won't be a need to obsess about kids taking maths and science in matric because it will be set. Kwagube says South Africa must use this opportunity as the G20 chairperson to talk about the issue and place it on a global stage.
Early childhood care and education, ladies and gentlemen, is not an optional extra. It is the foundation on which everything else rests. If we fail to get the quality foundational learning right, we undermine every other reform.
Gwahube says they are grateful as a sector that President Cyril Ramaphosa has taken up the challenge to champion the foundations of learning, not only in the country, but globally. Babalo Ndenza, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
And disabled persons relying on the City of Cape Town's Dialer Ride service say the scaling back of the transport service is a violation of their human rights. Dialer Ride is a dedicated curb-to-curb service for people with disabilities who are unable to access mainstream public transport services. But changes relating to who is allowed to use the service going forward will come into effect next month, as announced by the city. The changes will affect around 2,000 disabled people who use the service for going to work, school, church, and shops. Ntutuzela Nene has more.
As from September 8, only wheelchair users and those with severe walking impairments will be able to use the Dialer Ride service only to go to work and back. A large group of disabled people picketed outside the Cape Town Civic Centre today against these changes. Western Cape Black Disability Forum's Notugelo Makotliso says the city's decision is a slap in the face to other disabled people.
The sector constitutes less than 1% of the people who are employed by the public sector, only about 1% in the private sector. Who is the city going to transport? Why are they marginalizing us?
The city says it needs additional funding to continue with a full Dialer Ride service. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News in Cape Town.
A look at your weather. A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 5 and 14 degrees, and peak at highs that are alternating between 28 and 29 degrees.
Pimville, Soweto, slow-moving traffic on Chris Hani Road between Barra Hospital and Maponya Mall. There's also roadworks causing delays in the Devland area on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Also bumper-to-bumper traffic in the Lenasia area approaching the intersection of the Golden Highway and the R554 Nirvana Drive.
The top story in Eyewitness News. 3 people have died and 6 others injured in 2 separate taxi shooting incidents in Cape Town this morning.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Jack Bloom from the DA says we may find that one day that this cancer scandal has killed more people than life esidimeni. Remember the 144 odd patients? This is over 3,000 cancer patients who needed radiation, who didn't get it, who needed treatment, who didn't get it. I think everybody in Gauteng Health, certainly in the leadership of Gauteng Health, all the way to the Premier's office, they should hang their heads in shame.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Celebrate the arrival of spring with jazz from all corners at Nairock's Sculpture Park in the Cradle of Humankind on 7 September, featuring Kujenga, Tandi Ntuli, Linda Sikakane and Sia Makuzeni. Nairock's invites you to indulge in nature and art, exploring exhibitions on the rolling lawns and meandering waterways. A perfect occasion for family and friends with curated culinary pleasures and refined bar offerings. Limited tickets are available from nairocksarts.com. Nairock's is a private, not-for-profit foundation to benefit the arts. All income is used to maintain the grounds, the artist residency program, and artist support.
Joburg gets ready to paint the town purple. The Hollywood Bets 10-kilometer race is back. Bigger, bolder, and bursting with energy. Whether you're running for fun or just love the vibe, this is your race. Join thousands as we take over the streets in true purple style. Tickets are available now on web tickets, so make sure you grab your spots at the starting line. And listen up, KZN is 100% sold out. Joburg, it's your turn to shine. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0170.
Unfold extraordinary with the brand new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 5G 512 gig. Get it on a 6 gig Red Core plan from 1,749 per month over 36 months and double your storage with Vodacom, Mzansi's winning 5G network. Enhance your deal at 149 extra per month and get the Galaxy Watch 8 eSIM and Galaxy Buds 3. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
Imagine being 16 and deciding it's time to change your own life, no matter how daunting the odds, no matter how scary the possibilities. This Thursday on 702 Drive, we'll be meeting a quite remarkable young man who made a courageous, life-changing decision to be his own hero. He chose to undergo a cleft palate procedure, which didn't just transform his smile, it transformed his future. Catch this inspiring conversation made possible by the Dis-Chem Foundation this Thursday, 28 August, on 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. And remember, every swipe of your Dis-Chem or Dis-Chem Baby City benefit card supports initiatives that change lives across South Africa every single day. Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community. Remember, every swipe counts.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, Tate John. My favorite lines to use. First one is from an SNL skit where one of the patrons orders their steak extra well done. And then they always say the line, cook my meat, as in they want their meat well done. So whenever I'm making steak, I'll say, cook my meat. And then another one is from Matilda, Miss Trunchbull. She says, run, don't keep me waiting. Say that to make people hurry. Thank you, Ketani in Midrand.
Hi, Dr. John. Mine is when it's tough and, working very hard and I'm just tired, I go, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Cheers.
Hi, John. This is Ray. My favorite, although disadvantaged by the usage of the F word, is from Under Siege 2 by Everett McGill, saying, did you see the body? And the response is no. And then he responds by saying, assumption is the mother of all F-ups.
Yeah, thank you for those. We asked much earlier in the show the question, what lines out of movies or TV series have you adopted and implemented and included in your own speech or your moments in your own conversations? We've got some wonderful contributions. Now, we got one from Raymond, who spoke about a very, very famous line from The Godfather. And I thought, well, am I going to even venture my very best Marlon Brando? And then I thought, nah, let's just give you the original.
I want you to rest well, and a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
It's too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. How many times have you paraphrased that and said, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse? It's time for sport.
EWN Sport.
Hey, very good afternoon to you. I'm Kieran Thompson. We kick things off in rugby, where Rassie Erasmus named a 36-man Springbok squad for their upcoming tour to New Zealand. South Africa will tackle the All Blacks in back-to-back tests on the 6th and 13th of September. As expected, Coach Rassie selected his tried and tested with 20 forwards and 16 backs. The Bok coach retained a large part of his previous 38-man squad, with captain Siya Kolisi getting the nod despite being injured, as well as Jasper Visser, but he'll only be eligible for the second clash in Wellington. Sidestepping to the Springbok women, in case you missed it, South Africa made a thunderous start to their Rugby World Cup campaign, running in 10 tries against Brazil in Northampton on Sunday. Moving to the US Open now, 2021 champion Daniil Medvedev crashed out in the opening round, losing out to France's Benjamin Bonzi in a thrilling 5-setter, with the Russian having a bit of a meltdown over a photographer on the court. Meanwhile, four-time champion Novak Djokovic cruised into round 2 in straight sets, while in the women's singles, it was Jasmine Paolini who reached round 2 in straight sets as well. We wrap things up in the world of football with a look at Sunday's Premier League action, where Manchester United scored first at Craven Cottage but were held to a 1-1 draw by Fulham. Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest also drew 1-1, while Everton ushered in their new era at their new stadium with a 2-0 win over Brighton. Coming up tonight, a crunch clash will unfold on Tyneside as Newcastle United host champions Liverpool at 9 p.m. Kieran Thompson, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 14 minutes to 5, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency. Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. It's been a rough day in El Dorado Park, in the same side of Johannesburg, I suppose. South and southwest. Pimville's got trouble too.
Well, some good news in the Eldos area. Those delays are now clear, free-flowing traffic now. That's on the N12 approaching the Golden Highway. Otherwise, further down the N12, now there's delays. This is on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. Also in the Protea Lane area, traffic pressure on the R559 main road opposite GOG Gardens. In Soweto, Pimville, John, there's slow-moving traffic on Chris Hani Road between Bara Hospital and Maponya Mall. Devland roadworks still causing delays. This is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Lenasia, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic approaching the intersection of the Golden Highway and the R554 Navona Drive. Durban Deep, there's still slow-moving traffic on Randfontein Road between Miles Stalker and the Collard Avenue. There's also slow-moving traffic in the Midrand area. That's due to an accident scene. N1 northbound near Allendale. Delays all the way from the Butlu interchange. Edenvale, traffic sluggish. R24 westbound. That's heading into Germiston, Bedfordview area. That's between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis interchange. And finally in Boxburg, traffic heavily backed up on Rondebolt Road, approaching the N17. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Explore the wonders of Mpumalanga. Discover the ultimate wildlife experience that brings you closer to nature. Get your adrenaline rush with endless adventure activities. Explore breathtaking 4x4 routes or hike the Blader River Canyon, the third largest in the world. Unwind with spectacular landscapes and majestic waterfalls. Make Mpumalanga your destination of choice. Mpumalanga, embrace the unknown, live the adventure. This message is brought to you by the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency. Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Visit mpumalanga.com for more information.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Just before we turn to something else, one more on movie lines. Bongani sent us this on 0727021702. I remember some time when I was faced with challenges and needed courage. I would stand next to the mirror, dressed up and ready, and say, "Go get him, Jake," and punch a few jabs in the air before I go. That was Robert De Niro in the movie Raging Bull. Indeed, it was 1980. Won Robert De Niro his second Best Actor Oscar. But we're going to talk about something else now.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
So we were chatting, Rifue Litsua, producing the show together with Jonathan Fairburn today, about something you raised, about a weekend experience that wasn't a one-off, but is something you do quite often. Go.
Good afternoon, John, and to the rest of the 702 family. So I would call myself Dora the Explorer.
Okay.
I love exploring, experimenting, and I don't mind going to places by myself, John. And yesterday I went to a beautiful music concert tributing to women, and I was there by myself. I had fun. I made sure I was safe. And then these young ladies sat next to me. "Are you by yourself?"
Yes.
Yes. Why? Shame. I'm like, no, not shame.
Yes,
Yay.
yes.
This is what I do, and I love it.
So the broader question that comes out of it is things you do where most other people are either in groups, couples, or whatever, but not alone. And you do that often. If it's something you want to do and friends are busy or whatever it might be, you say, well, I'm still going.
I do it at least twice a month, John.
Okay.
And I just do it. I will send an invite out to say, hey, would you like to come with John? And if I feel like, oh, you don't want to, I still go ahead. So
Yes.
I just go ahead, go to movies. I dress up, so I make it a big occasion.
And tell me, I mean, when you're there, so did they say, oh, come with us, we're going to go and do this or that? What's your kind of MO? Do you go along with interesting strangers or people you've just met, or do you say, actually, you know what, I'm soloing this one?
So it's a bit of both, John.
Yes.
So yesterday's ladies, after they said, shame to me, can we sit with you? I'm like, you're more than welcome. We sat, they ate lunch or whatever they were eating at that time. Do you want to drink? No, I'm good. I'm sorted. And then, okay, bye-bye, Chomi. And then I just went around to the different stalls. And I mean, if people want to chill with me, I'm not opposed to that. But I do love just sitting by myself and just sort of taking everything in and being in the moment, away from my phone and just being there.
I used to go to restaurants quite a lot on my own and always ask for a table with the best light, because invariably I brought a book.
I do the same.
Yeah. Nerd guy in the corner wants a refill on his red wine or an extra thing of butter for his roll or whatever. Yeah. Nerd guy in the corner. That was me. You?
Yeah, John. Just like Rufuo, I love going to. I used to go to the Grahamstown Arts Festival alone, and what I like about it, because there's so many plays and activities going on, so you don't have to debate with the rest of the group where you want to go, what play you want to see. So I always just loved going to the Grahamstown Arts Festival, and I've made friends, and we're still friends after 10 years.
Yeah.
Strangers. We meet strangers, we become friends. And even today, we still call each other and say, hey, what's up?
Quite an adventure. National Arts Festival on your own. Going to have to do it again sometime. I'll come with you.
Fair enough.
That defeats the point. Okay, we'll stay in different places.
100%.
All right. Let's plan it. 7:02 Drive. It's 8 minutes to 5.
Drive home with John Perlman
On 702, let's walk the talk.
We do this every Monday. The B20 In Brief is brought to you by Standard Bank, your weekly window into the key insights and conversations shaping the B20 Summit. And of course, that is a crucial part of the G20. But one aspect of that has been something not so much focusing on business, although it is indeed something very much central to business conversations. The education not just of our people, but of children all around the world. Getting underway today in Cape Town, the G20 National Education Indaba. So what are they talking about? The theme is taking the G20 to the people, a national indaba for advancing quality foundational learning. To talk about this, we're joined by a regular guest on 702 Drive. Basil Manuel is Director of the National Professional Teachers Organization of South Africa. Mr. Manuel, welcome. Thanks very much for your time. What is foundational learning and why the focus on that? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John, and thanks for having me. As the name suggests, it is about taking the focus back to the beginning years of schooling, foundational learning. But foundational also, of course, has other meanings, whether we have the foundation right to take children into the 21st century and beyond. So it's very much a focus, and for South Africa it's important because we have such a focus on grade 12 without looking at fixing the bottom. So this was the ideal time for a lot of people to express those frustrations, but also the great opportunities that exist with that approach.
So the fascinating thing, I would imagine, I'm sure you're not a stranger to international gatherings of sharp minds and people who've, perhaps learned some harsh lessons. But I would think quite an august gathering and very much representative of countries at different stages of development. What's coming out?
John, the one thing we've learned is that everybody has made mistakes.
Yes.
And that even with early childhood education and learning, there are still mistakes being made and people are still correcting it. From the powerhouses of the world, they are still correcting it. And the great opportunity for us is to learn from the mistakes too, so that we don't make the same mistakes. However, it was more than that too, because we are sitting with a unique situation of backlogs of very, very bad infrastructure when it comes to early childhood education. And of course, we've got to try and see how the aspirations of the people are being met, especially given the promise of Bella. So it was a robust debate and a lot of local people, and of course also listening, but at the same time lamenting, and at the same time planning about how we can make it, how we can fix it and do it right.
Right. I mean, every gathering, Mr. Manuel, the national dialogue, I suppose, is a slightly different animal, but it has focused a conversation on the value of people gathering to talk and exchange ideas, because there is, as you can imagine, a deep South African frustration with the lack of action and delivery. To what extent do you have an optimism around the conversation you're involved with right now, that while it wouldn't necessarily be a line-for-line implementation, nevertheless, some practical stuff may come out of it?
John, one of the really good things about this whole foundational learning philosophy for us is that we've been preaching this message about we're paying a lot of attention to the final year.
Yes.
Without necessarily investing properly throughout. And if we fix the bottom, the top should heal itself.
Right.
And for the first time, we've really had a national conversation about that. And we all seem to be saying very similar things. Of course, matric is still important. And it's important in the psyche of the country as a whole. And you're not going to change that overnight. But there has to be more energy put into the foundation phases. The disconnect, even in communication, to see why have we not fixed access to those things that make 21st century learning so important. And then, of course, the debate. When do you bring this 21st century technology into a class? And are our teachers ready for it? From my perspective, we've had to look at how are we going to train our teachers? Already they are sitting with a problem of IT and not knowing enough and their children knowing more. So it's been a broad debate, but a lot of exciting things. And now the biggest challenge being, how are we going to give life to some of these? How's the department going to absorb some of these things?
Thanks so much to Basil Manuel, Executive Director of NAPTOSA, the National Professional Teachers Organization of South Africa. He's taking part in a very interesting gathering underway in Cape Town at the moment, all under the broad umbrella of the G20. This is the National Education Indaba. We've got our EWN colleagues covering that as well, and I'm sure we'll touch on it again over the next couple of days. At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja, 1 to 3 p.m.
So then what is the difference between those parents that come home and continue their days and their conversations as per normal, and the parents that come home in a bad mood and, you know, the kids now want to retreat or they're scared to talk? Like, what is the difference? What are each of those individuals doing differently?
Children are biologically programmed to want to associate and align with their parents for their survival. And so when children are exposed to uncomfortable or unpleasant emotions, and it's paired with a sensation of there's going to be a threat to my survival, they can start cycling through different kinds of survival responses in order to cope with the perceived threat.
Dr. Jeannie Cavey, clinical psychologist.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja.
Let's walk the talk.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 1 liter 6-pack Spar Long Life, full cream, low fat or fat-free milk, excluding lactose-free, for $89.99 with Spar Rewards, or 900-gram original Bacoma Wheat Bix for $49.99. Save 15 Rand with Spar Rewards. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million Rand in instant cash. Prices valid until 7 September 2025, while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Psst. Hey, no longer feeling like the man you used to be?
The man who's the life of the party, even when he doesn't attend.
The fact is, 95% of men with low testosterone go untreated.
Vitamin High Performance Supplements for men helps recharge energy, regain lean muscle, and reload performance. Available at all good pharmacies and vitamin.co.za.
Vitamin. Don't get older. Get better.
Start thinking about your future degree. The IIE MSA campus in the West Rand is hosting an open day on Saturday, 30 August. Meet our academics to discuss the IIE bachelor and postgraduate degrees in a wide range of study areas. Explore the largest private higher education campus in South Africa and experience the exciting student life. For more info, visit iiemsa.co.za. IIEMSA is a leading brand of the Independent Institute of Education, a registered higher education provider.
This is EWN.
Ekurhuleni municipality accused of negligence in 2022 Boksburg explosion, and Minister de Lille defends decision to dissolve tourism board. Good afternoon, I'm Maki Malapo. We begin in the east of Johannesburg, where victims of the 2022 Boksburg explosion tragedy are accusing the Ekurhuleni municipality of negligence in a newly filed lawsuit. The Metro is one of three entities cited in the 65 million rand lawsuit brought by survivors and families of the victims. On the 24th of December 2022, a truck carrying about 6,000 litres of highly flammable gas got stuck under a low-lying bridge and exploded, killing 41 people and injuring many others. Tabiso Goba has more.
The claim against the Ekurhuleni municipality is twofold. LHA's attorneys Gabriel Begovic says the first is the poor road signage,
which we are of the view was inadequate where it was existing. So there's supposed to be certain signs leading up to the low-lying bridge to alert a driver of the fact that a low-lying bridge is upcoming.
The lawsuit also alleges the municipality's fire department did not properly evacuate the area. It says for trucks carrying 6,000 litres of liquefied petroleum gas, the evacuation radius should be between 1,100 and 1,400 meters from the source. The municipality says it has noted the lawsuits and reserves the right to defend itself. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
Tourism Minister Patricia de Lille has dismissed claims of being draconian amid mounting criticism over the dissolution of the SA Tourism Board. De Lille defended her decision on the sidelines of the Tourism Execution Lab session at Empress Palace in the east of Johannesburg today. She dissolved the board last week following a special meeting where she claims an unlawful resolution was taken. Some board members have since denied any wrongdoing. Nugukanya Mtambo has more.
In a public back and forth, Tourism Minister Patricia de Lille and the SA Tourism Board appeared to be at odds over governance and channels of accountability. De Lille says she's aware of, but denies claims that she dissolved the board to protect SAT CEO Nombulelo Kuliwe for an Auditor General finding against her related to a 4 million rand payment to service providers made in 2019 when she was still CFO. The payments were for the failed Dubai Expo during the COVID pandemic. Instead, de Lille says she needed to raise her objections over what she describes as long-running procedural flaws in the convening of several board meetings to prevent the board from undermining governance systems. She says she won't compromise on issues of law, even if it earns her the title of being a smiling dictator. Nogukanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
Construction Education CETA CEO Malusi Shezi has accused the Higher Education Department of overreaching following the appointment of administrators at three embattled CETAs. Last week, Higher Education and Training Minister Buti Manamela appointed three administrators to help turn around the local government, construction and services CETAs. But the process has again been marred by claims of irregularities. Shezi says there are no indicators of governance failure at the CETA that would place it in the department's crosshairs. The minister has since enlisted the Public Service Commission to vet the newly appointed administrators after facing backlash over claims of irregularities in the process. Speaking on 702 earlier today, Shezi added to criticism about inconsistencies while denying claims of maladministration.
Section 15 is very clear that you can place a CETA under administration, one, if there is financial mismanagement of its finances, two, if it's failing to discharge its responsibilities and function in terms of the Skills Act. The other one is extreme, which also still there must be clear reasons. So at this stage, we can't state other than what is said in the statement.
Meanwhile, Manamela has directed three embattled CETAs to publish a 90-day stabilization plan with clear and measurable indicators in an effort to address inefficiencies at the CETAs. We move to the KwaZulu-Natal courts, where the Umzimkhulu Magistrates Court has learned that late ANC councillor Senzo Meyiwa was killed for wanting to expose corruption within the Umzimkhulu local municipality. The revelation was made as murder-accused former municipal manager Zwelipanzi Skhosana returned to court for bail continuation today. Meyiwa was shot execution-style in 2017 and died later that year in hospital under heavy police guard. Nhlanhla Mabaso has more.
During proceedings in court today, the state revealed the key motive behind the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. It alleges he was targeted for challenging corruption linked to the renovation of the Peace Memorial Hall in Umzimkhulu. State prosecutor advocate Lawrence Gaba cross-examined the applicant Stanley Skhosana.
It is the state's evidence which we are going to lead that this is the main cause, the main motive we are here today, because the deceased was one of those people who complained about the manner you were handling that reflection.
The former manager was also implicated by one of the hitmen, Sibusiso Ngengwa, who was sentenced to 25 years behind bars last month. In the dock today, Skhosana has refused to respond. When asked if he was aware that some councillors were dissatisfied during his tenure, the matter has been postponed to the 2nd of September. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Umzimkhulu.
And the City of Cape Town says while it understands the negative impact its decision to cut dial-a ride services will have on disabled people, budget constraints have left it no choice. From September 8th, only wheelchair users and people with severe walking impairments will be able to use the service to go to work and back. Trips to school, meetings and other appointments will be stopped. People with disabilities in the mother city say the decision is a violation of their human rights. Ntutuzelo Nene has more.
About 200 persons with disabilities picketed outside the Cape Town Civic Centre today, calling on the city to review its decision of scaling back dial-a ride services from next month. However, MACO member for Mobility Rob Quintus says there's no budget to continue with the level of service being provided.
We understand that some of the grievances are that people can't get to church on a Sunday, that they aren't able to go and visit relatives or get to places of recreation, shopping. I understand that. We would love to operate the service at that level. The reality is that if we do not have the funding, we cannot do so.
About 2,000 disabled people rely on the dial-a ride service across the metro. Quintus says they've asked for more funding from national government, but to date they've received no response. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News in Cape Town.
Gold's trading at $3,375.58 an ounce. The rand's at 17.56 to the dollar, at 23.72 to the pound, at 20.53 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $68.65 a barrel.
Groentloof for Pretoria expect delays on George Storer Drive between Tutoy and the Fountain Circle, while in Devland there's roadwork still causing heavy delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Further down the Golden Highway, bumper-to-bumper traffic in the Lenasia area between the R554 Nirvana Drive and the R554 Nirvana Drive and Union Avenue.
In the sporting world, Newcastle United and Liverpool square off at St James's Park in the Premier League tonight. Tommy Fleetwood breaks his PGA Tour duck, and the Proteas women head into camp as part of their Cricket World Cup preparations.
Look at your weather. Clear skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Joburg will drop to overnight lows of 11 degrees and peak at highs of 29. Pretoria is at 14 and 28. Vereeniging's at 5, also reaching highs of 29 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. Victims of the 2022 Boksburg explosion tragedy are accusing the Ekurhuleni municipality of negligence in a newly filed lawsuit.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 10 minutes past 5. Good to have you with us. Welcome if you've just joined us. Thanks for being along for the ride if you've been with us for a bit longer. Earlier in the show, we asked you about things that other people generally go to in groups or couples or whatever it might be that you sometimes just go to alone. It could be a restaurant, it could be a club, it could be a music festival, it could be a sports event. Give us a call with your stories on that. We had a wonderful one a little bit earlier from our colleague Rifue Letsua talking about a women's music festival she was at over the weekend. We've got a couple of you responding already. We'll share that with you in just a moment. But the number to use is 072 702 1702. I have another question for you. The South African Police Service have announced that they are offering 353 posts as detectives. The shortfall of detectives in our police service is absolutely, I was going to say criminal, but it certainly is alarming. Let's stay away from anything that might sound like a bad pun on something as serious as this. Were you ever in the police service as a detective? Did you leave? And if so, tell us why. And if you would consider coming back, what would be the minimums that you want to see guaranteed before you would take up that position again? It is not an easy job. I am told, though, it can be a profoundly satisfying one. We're going to explore that in some detail in about 4 or 5 minutes' time. We'll be joined by a guest who we'll call Detective Radamba. 19 years at SAPS, 5 of those as a detective. What's his take on this particular offer? And crucially, what is it that prompted him to leave in the first place? All that coming up, including some business news with Stephen Curtis, and we'll bring you some music after 5:30. It's 12 minutes past 5.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, John and team. Yeah, like for me as well, I'm normally a person who goes out or to events with friends. But then I love cricket, and my friends really are not big fans of cricket. They prefer rugby or like football. So I love going to the stadium. So there's times when my friends are like not keen for the game, I'll go to the stadium by myself, and like trust me, by the end of the game, I would have made friends there just from the people who are sitting around you. So yeah.
Hi, John and team, as well as you listeners. Things that I enjoy doing solo that people typically do in groups. I love going to restaurants by myself. I'll do breakfast, I'll do brunch, maybe after the gym. I'll do lunch, but I can never do dinner. I think that's a bit much. I used to do a lot of solo hiking back in the day. I no longer do that though because it doesn't feel as safe. Where it gets a bit tricky is when you go to like the markets alone, which I sometimes do. That's where groups of people tend to feel sorry for you and think that you're there because you don't have people. And then they tend to want to invite you to join them, which I don't necessarily enjoy, but sometimes I do. But for the most part, I don't enjoy it. I just enjoy being alone. The worst thing I have ever done, though, is attend a concert by myself. I attended a concert at night by myself. I did not enjoy that. So I'll just stick to restauranting alone. And it's, by the way, the best time to people watch is when you're doing anything solo. And I enjoy people watching very much. Thank you.
Great stuff. Keep those coming, please. Things you do alone that most other people do in groups or couples. Your experience of that. I mean, there's some real sadness in that last voice note saying, I used to hike alone and can't do that anymore. I don't mean sadness from the individual who sent it, but just in what she was highlighting. We had a conversation earlier in my time here, women talking about how they don't feel they can run alone. Another activity. I, for example, generally prefer to cycle on my own, but I've generally felt pretty safe. It seems it's certainly not the case for women in our country, which is something we talk about and something we haven't yet resolved. 702 Drive, it's 4:15.
EWN Traffic.
I was just checking to see if you're all awake. It's actually 14 minutes past 5. I'm awake now. This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Pretoria's tricky. Groenkloof, Karabo Chale has the details and some advice, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. At this stage, Groenkloof, Pretoria, expect some delays. This is on George Storer Drive between Du Toit and the Fountain Circle. Devland, we still have roadworks causing heavy delays on the Golden Highway. between the N1 and Union Avenue, as well as in Lenasia. We still have bumper-to-bumper traffic approaching the intersection of the Golden Highway and the R554 Nirvana Drive. That's also due to roadworks. Protea Lane, traffic pressure on the R559 main road opposite GOG Gardens. While in Durban Deep, there's slow-moving traffic on Randfontein Road between Miles Stocker and Corlett Avenue. In Midrand, also expect some delays on the N1 northbound between the Butlu Interchange and New Road. While in Edenville, Ekurhuleni, traffic sluggish on the R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Gilulis Interchange. And in Boksburg, traffic remains heavily backed up on Rondebolt Road approaching the N17. If you come across any other traffic issues, so please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clever late excuse number 83. You spilled coffee on your clothes and stopped at the shops to get a new shirt. Fortunately, with the OUTsurance pointsmen on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The OUTsurance pointsmen easing traffic congestion and getting you there quickly and safely since 2005. OUTsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using #PointsmenLove. OUTsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
When you vote in Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko, you don't just support a business, you help rewrite its future.
Winning Gauteng's greatest, powered by Yoko, impacted our business in quite a few ways. And for our business, which is a family business, which was actually originally established in KZN, it was so important in establishing ourselves in Gauteng with our second location, which many people didn't even know. Of course, yes, I would encourage people to vote for their favorite establishment. It's really not hard to do, to just quickly go to Prime Media Plus to cast your vote.
Winning Gauteng's greatest, powered by Yoko, has helped us to get that kind of public recognition, but this now gives that recognition to the staff who put in all that time and effort to give our customers the greatest pizza available. On behalf of us at Delta Cafe, I would strongly encourage all the listeners to go to Prime Media Plus and cast their votes.
Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Your vote is more than a click. It could be a game changer for your favorite local business. Vote now on primemediaplus.com.
Naked people have happier marriages. They're present. They listen. They even remember anniversaries. And that's because naked people get car and home insurance online in seconds, which means less time wasted on insurance admin and more time for date nights or couples therapy. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and get naked, people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
When you empower a woman, you empower a whole nation. Women have a remarkable way of multiplying whatever is placed in their hands. This August, we're celebrating Women's Month with the theme Building Resilient Economies for All. We reflect and honor the courageous women of 1956 who took a stand against the injustices of the past. We also recognize and celebrate all South African women who continue to lead, build, and inspire across every part of our society, from business and education to peace building and beyond. Yes, there is still much to be done. The pursuit to achieving total gender equality and empowerment will continue until every woman is able to enjoy the benefits of a safe and just society. #Rekaufela Basadi. #Women's Month 2025. A message by the National Department of Sport, Arts and Culture.
Every day, most of us drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
19 minutes past 5. Well, it's no great news for you when people say that the South African Police Service are understaffed, and they're understaffed in the crucial area of detectives. The shortfalls have been highlighted in questions to Parliament and various forms of analysis of the state of our policing. So you would have to say it's good news that the Police Ministry recently advertised 353 vacancies for former detectives. They're looking for people who had experience, and they'll be reappointed on 12-month contracts. So it raises a number of questions for me. The first would be, well, why did those people leave in the first place? And secondly, if the ministry has a clear idea as to what prompted the departures, what have they changed to make sure that those issues have been addressed. To talk about this, we're joined by somebody who had 19 years experience in the SAPS. 5 years of those were in the detectives. We welcome to 702 Drive somebody who we are calling Detective Radamba. Detective, welcome, and thanks very much for giving us your time. From the detectives you know, and perhaps amongst them you want to include yourself, do you think the chat lines are buzzing? People are calling each other and saying, thinking of going back? Or do you think once people have left, they're not going to be keen?
Oh, thank you, John. Thank you for welcoming me, and good evening to your listeners. From my understanding, I don't think people will be jumping and being happy to say they want to go back because, as you have mentioned, we need to look at what makes people to leave SAPS in the first place,
yes,
and look at what they are offering now to say, or what they are trying to attempt the former detectives to come back. Like, is it now better than what it used to be? That is the question. So I don't think, looking at what I've seen in those posts, it's anything which can make one to be excited.
What prompted you to leave? I mean, you gave 19 years of your life to being a member of the police service, and I would have thought being a detective would have been, in many ways the height of your ambition. But you quit. Tell us why. What was going wrong?
To start with, as you have said, I've given almost the whole of my life being a police officer to start with, and
yes,
I've joined the police at an early age, where I've given 19 years of my life. So it was not an easy decision to make, but some of the things which happens within the organizations are some of the things which will prompt one to think twice to say, I need to also look at my future going forward. I mean, I've given almost half of my age or so in this organization, but what am I getting in return? So these are the things which you consider when you try to see yourself out of this place, because there is a lot of things which is happening in the organization. And some of those things are the ones which will make you to think and say, let me go and try somewhere else.
Yeah.
Obviously, you will look at the better working environment.
Mm-hmm.
You will look at things like resources, like better resources when you are working. You will look also at the main one, which I think it will be in terms of remuneration.
So there's an interesting interview in today's Sowetan Detective Radamba with Calvin Rafadi. He's a crime expert at UJ, Kwena Mashale, the journalist interviewing him about these ads. And one of the things that Mr. Rafadi highlights is that the resources to really get the job done are not as they should be. And one of the things in particular he points to is the backlog at labs and the budget for informants being cut. Were those problems when you were there? I mean, did you find that you'd be waiting on forensics to come back from the lab while you try to sort of keep witnesses on side and get something into the courts?
Yes, some of those things, they are the things which are there, and I still believe they are still there. Like as you said, I saw that interview where he's talking about the laboratories and all those things.
Right.
Some of those things, the backlogs, like for example, when you talk about SAPS ballistics, where they do the testing of firearms and all those things. I mean, you've got the ballistic office in Pretoria, which is handling nationally, like 9 provinces. So it won't be easy for cases to be dealt as quick as possible. And when you talk about resources, as we have mentioned, even on the ground level, like for example, your police station level, there are some simple things which you expect to have, or things which, when you look at the private sector, they are easily provided, and they make your job to be easily done. Like those kind of things. Like, for example, for you to get in the SAPS, you cannot even be able to do an ITC, which is a profile of a person. So you don't have those kind of resources to do that. So yes, in terms of resources, that is one of the biggest challenge which is there and which is affecting the SAPS.
One of the things that I was going to ask you about, I mean, the contracts appear to be 12 months long. I would have thought it takes you a while. Let's say you are stationed, it doesn't really matter where, Sandown, Katlehong, Bedford View, wherever it is. You need some time to build your networks, establish relationships with colleagues who are in the SAPS but maybe doing different jobs. How much realistically can you do in 12 months?
Exactly. Like, and again, in that 12 months, obviously, not even before 12 months, I think around your 4th month or 6th month, you also need to be thinking, what will I be doing beyond my 12 months? And you also be thinking, what will be happening beyond my 12 months? I mean, right now, if I talk about the young ones who have left the SAPS, who have joined the private sector, they are permanently employed wherever they are. Do you want to try to lose somebody to come back for 12 months? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, please continue.
Yeah, what I was saying is, it wouldn't make sense for me, for example, to leave my permanent job at a private sector to come back and be offered a 12-month contract, which you are not even guaranteed that it's going to be renewed beyond that.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions that are raised, but many thanks for providing some answers. Detective Radamba is joining us. He is a former detective. Some thoughts on the 353 detective posts that have been offered to former detectives. They're looking for people. The wording, I think, is extensive experience, but maybe some other questions that are being raised. For example, a 12-month contract, how much can you get done if you're trying to build up a profile as an effective detective in a tough part of South Africa, which is presumably where these people are needed most? Maybe you've got your own experience to share. We'd love to hear it. 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. 28 minutes past 5.
EWN Business.
Right, the latest from the markets. Stephen Curtis, good day.
Afternoon to you, John. Yeah, very strong day for the JSE, up 0.25%, a new record to 102,978. Went past 103,000 earlier. Financials down 0.94, industrials up 0.28, resources up 1.7 ending at the end of the day. Quite a lot of corporate news out, a few results. So Sasol's share price up nearly 12% on the day. Now, this is a company that's already gone up by around 25% since the start of the year. They were down a lot. They're still sort of down 20% in the last 12 months. They did report they're making a profit again. Headline earnings nearly doubling to 22 billion rand. They were hit by a big drop in the rand oil price. That pushed their EBITDA down. The real story, I think, and we'll ask Simon Baloyi, the CEO of Sasol, is about the vision. How do you sell investors on what Sasol is going to look like in a kind of greener era? Italtal, they're up 6% today. They did report slightly lower turnover. Their headline earnings per share up just 2%. They've got quite extensive cash reserves, John. They're going to fund a special dividend out of those cash reserves. They are forecasting a long period of slow economic growth. Now, John, listen, this is their message to government. They say municipal failures, what they call an onerous regulatory environment. They speak about very high electricity prices. All of this, they say, is accelerating the deindustrialization of South Africa. They're putting into kind of JSE speak what you're going to see when you go home and, when you on the way home. I mean, it is exactly that. And so for all of the talk of government wanting to grow the economy, I think Italtel putting into quite stern words how difficult it is to run a company in South Africa at the moment. Then we've got Goldfields and DRD Gold, both up by around 4%. Exaro up 3% as well. Some of the consumer shares down. So Pick n Pay down 3.5%. Mr. Price down 2%. Aspen, the Foschini Group, both down by around 2% as well. And Harmony down 2%, along with Nedbank. They're down nearly 2.5% on the day. I should mention, by the way, that AXA, the airports company, they've made, I think, a higher profit than ever. 1.1 billion rand for the year to the end of March. Their revenue is up 13%. My usual grumble at this point is you can feel that in parking prices at airports, John. We'll speak to the CEO, Mpumi Mpofu, this evening. They've got a big pipeline of spending coming. They want to spend over 21 billion rand on our major airports over the next 5 years. That is going to have a huge impact. In the US, Wall Street slightly lower today, the kind of rally that was sparked by expectations of an interest rate cut in September. That seems to be over. The Dow Jones is down nearly 0.5%. The Nasdaq is up nearly a quarter, and the S&P 500 is down 0.11 at the moment. The gold price this evening, $3,375.03 an ounce. Platinum, $1,335.11. Brent crude, $68.65 a barrel. And then the rand to the dollar is 17.58 to the euro, 20.54 to the British pound, 23.72. Listen to me. Also coming up on the Money Show this evening, not just the CEOs of various companies. We'll also talk Advitech, their results. We know Curo said that the decline in the sort of middle class had an impact on the number of children in their schools. Doesn't seem to be the case for Advitech. Their enrollment is actually up. We'll ask them how and why they've done that on the Money Show this evening. Look at SARS, which I think is about to get hot and heavy. Don't be surprised if everyone you know has a SARS audit. And then Nduduzo Makatini, someone who lives, breathes, performs, but also thinks music. He has a PhD in breaking into sound, dislocating into cosmology and improvisation in South African jazz. We'll ask him about that in My Money this evening. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Terrific lineup ahead. The Money Show between 6 and 8. It's 28 minutes to 6. Let's get the very latest eyewitness news with Maki Molapo.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. We begin with news just in. 5 online robbery suspects have been injured during a shootout with police this afternoon in Midrand in Johannesburg. The incident occurred as police were investigating a case of armed robbery linked to a bogus car sale conducted on social media platform Facebook Market. Last week, a prospective buyer was shot and robbed in the same area after arriving at an agreed-upon meeting point to close the deal. Police say the same suspects tried to fool another victim today by luring them using the same car as bait. Thando Ngcobo has more.
Deputy Gauteng Police Commissioner Fred Kekana says they have been zeroing in on similar incidents which have become rife in the area in recent weeks. He says they made a breakthrough when the Facebook buyer decided to report the suspicious deal to the police, who then followed up on the matter.
They were coming thinking that they are going to rob this vehicle, not knowing that the vehicle they were approaching is police. Just on their arrival, they started shooting at the police, and the police had to defend themselves.
Kekana says 5 of the 7 suspects were injured during the shootout and are receiving medical care on scene before being taken into custody. He says 2 managed to flee the area. 1 is believed to have been wounded in the fracas. 1 officer who was shot on the leg has been rushed to hospital where he is receiving treatment. Thando Ngcobo, Eyewitness News.
In the Western Cape, 3 people have died and 6 others injured in 2 separate taxi shooting incidents earlier today in Cape Town. In the first incident, 6 adult men were shot at a taxi rank on Mwangi Drive in Philippi East this morning. 2 men died in the attack, while 3 taxi drivers are in critical condition and a passenger is currently stable in hospital. The second shooting took place at the Vuyani taxi rank in Khayelitsha this morning, where 1 taxi driver was killed and 2 others were wounded. Police spokesperson Malcolm Boyke says the motives for these attacks are believed to be related to taxi conflicts.
Philippi East SAPS subsequently opened 2 counts of murder and 4 of attempted murder. The suspects fled the scene in an unknown getaway vehicle in both instances and are yet to be arrested.
Parliament's public participation processes are again set to come under scrutiny in the Constitutional Court, this time over the National Health Insurance Act. It's one of 3 legal cases launched by the Board of Healthcare Funders over the Act, which aims to provide free healthcare at the point of service. While challenges against the President in respect of this matter are still ongoing, the fund is now simultaneously taking aim at Parliament, saying its processes had merely been a tick-box exercise. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
The BHF contends that Parliament failed to conduct meaningful public participation because it did not take into account the public's views on the matter, neither appeared willing to do so. In an affidavit filed by the fund's managing director, Dr. Joseph Mutudi, he contends that both the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces merely went through the motions, despite glaring flaws in the NHI bill they were considering at the time. The BHF says Parliament did not act rationally by passing the bill in December 2023 when it did not know what services would be covered under the Act. Neither did it know the costs involved. By failing to conduct a costing exercise, the BHF says in effect Parliament signed a blank cheque when it's responsible for allocating money to the NHI fund from which services are to be paid. The BHF says given these circumstances, the President's decision to sign the Act into law should be declared invalid and set aside. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And the United Nations has again insisted that journalists and hospitals should never be targeted following an Israeli strike on a hospital that has killed at least 20 people, including 5 journalists. The Foreign Press Association has called for an immediate explanation from the Israeli military and Prime Minister's office, with Reuters, the Associated Press and Al Jazeera mourning their slain contributors. According to the Media Watchdogs Committee to Protect Journalists and Reporters Without Borders, around 200 journalists have been killed in nearly 2 years of war between Israel and Hamas. UN Rights Office says the killing of journalists in Gaza should shock the world not into stunned silence but into action, demanding accountability and justice. A look at your weather. A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 5 and 11 degrees and peak at highs alternating between 28 and 29 degrees.
Roadwork still slowing down traffic in the Devland area. This is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue, Protea Glen. Traffic pressure. This is on the R559 opposite GOG Gardens. And in Edenvale heading towards Bedfordview, traffic remains sluggish on the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gillies interchange.
The top story in Eyewitness News. 5 online robbery suspects have been injured during a shootout with police this afternoon in Midrand in Johannesburg.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
So then what is the difference between those parents that come home and continue their days and their conversations as per normal and the parents that come home in a bad mood and, you know, the kids now want to retreat or they're scared to talk? Like, what is the difference? What are each of those individuals doing differently?
Children are biologically programmed to want to associate and align with their parents for their survival. And so when children are exposed to uncomfortable, unpleasant emotions, and it's paired with a sensation of there's going to be a threat to my survival, they can start cycling through different kinds of survival responses in order to cope with the perceived threat.
Dr. Jeannie Cavey, clinical psychologist.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9, featuring Aquile. Their marketing manager, Sharon Combrink, will be in conversation with Bongani Bingwa. And join us every Wednesday as we highlight the efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and make a difference together.
Naked people spend more time outdoors. They're always walking or running or cycling up something steep. And that's because naked people get car and home insurance online in seconds, which means less time wasted on insurance admin and more time training for that triathlon they keep casually bringing up in conversation. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and get naked, people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
The Checkers Hyper price drop is here. Save up to 40% on deals like Jungle Oats 1 kg, Nutrific 1.35 kg, and Kellogg's Cornflakes cereal 750 grams, all three for 149 Rand. Save 57 Rand. Dr. Oetker Classic Frozen Pizza, any 5 for 199 Rand. Save 126 Rand. And Pampers Mega Box nappies or pants for 399 Rand. Save 251 Rand. Deals valid until this Sunday, only at Checkers Hyper.
Every day, most of us spend an hour on the food aisle, stressing about what to make for dinner. That's 29,200 hours of your life spent shopping and deliberating over what's for dinner. Why not trade that internal drama for watching a little on-screen drama? Or whatever else you want to do. And let You Cook handle dinner. Delivered, prepped, and ready to cook. So, choose You Cook and take back some me time. Visit youcook.co.za to find how.
702. WhatsApp John
On 072
702
1702.
Hi, John. Lucretia here. I have been on my own for quite a while, and I must say, nothing stops me from going out on my own. I've been to the cricket on my own. I've been to a restaurant on my own. Also not dinner, I'll be honest with you. But I've been to concerts on my own. If I want to do something and nobody wants to join, as in friends and that, I go on my own. Nothing stops me from doing what I want to do.
Yeah, it's a really interesting set of responses, and thank you for all of those. Question we asked a little bit earlier. What are the things that you are happy to do on your own that other people would perhaps be doing in couples or groups of friends or maybe in a family arrangement? Good to have got those, and everybody sounding really, really positive about that. It's 19 minutes to 6.
EWN Sport.
Right, let's get the very latest from the playing fields and beyond.
Good afternoon. I'm Kieran Thompson. We get the ball rolling in the world of football. Starting in La Liga, where Real Madrid registered their second win on their first outing of the season. Kylian Mbappe netted a brace while Vinicius Jr. scored in injury time, meaning Los Blancos are yet to concede a goal in the Spanish top flight after their opening two matches. 3-0 is how it finished away to Oviedo. Staying with the beautiful game, but heading to England now, Newcastle United host Premier League champions Liverpool in a crunch clash at St James's Park. Here's what Magpies boss Eddie Howe had to say about the situation surrounding Swedish striker Alexander Isak, who's agitating for a move to Anfield.
There's no issues there between us. Of course, it's a difficult situation from both sides, and I can see it's far from ideal for both parties, and that includes Alex and us.
Kickoff is at 9 p.m. Meanwhile, Arsenal confirmed that Bukayo Saka will be sidelined for up to 4 weeks with a hamstring injury he picked up in their 5-0 win over Leeds United this weekend. We move to rugby now, where Rassie Erasmus named a 36-man squad for their upcoming tour to New Zealand. South Africa will tackle the All Blacks in back-to-back tests. They lock horns in Auckland on the 6th of September before battling it out in Wellington a week later. Moving to the US Open now, 2021 champion Daniil Medvedev crashed out in the opening round, losing out to France's Benjamin Bonzi in a thrilling 5-setter. Meanwhile, four-time champion Novak Djokovic cruised into round 2 in straight sets. Carlos Alcaraz will be in action in the early hours of tomorrow morning. He faces Riley Opelka. Kieran Thompson, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Okay, let's continue doing our best to get you home with a minimum amount of difficulty. But when there are roadworks, well, that's not always the easiest set of circumstances. Joburg South.
Yes.
That's the problem, yeah?
Yeah, no, indeed. It's been a problem for a few weeks now, John. And today, this afternoon, no difference. Devland, roadworks causing huge delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Lenasia also bumper-to-bumper traffic approaching the intersection of the Golden Highway and the R554 Nirvana Drive, also due to roadworks. In Protea Glen, traffic pressure on the R559 main road opposite GOG Gardens. There's also slow-moving traffic in Durban Deep on Randfontein Road between Miles Stocker and Corlett Avenue. Constantia Kloof heading towards Soweto, traffic sluggish on the N1 southbound between Bears, Nordia and 14th Avenue. There's also traffic pressure in the Joburg CBD on the M1 South between Killarney Benz and the Crown Interchange. Midrand also expect some delays on the N1 northbound between the Butlu Interchange and New Road, and in Edenvale traffic is still slow on the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis Interchange. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 5:45 now. As I'm sure many of you know from Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, my colleague Kabazele is great at trawling the internet and finding interesting things, including this post from X by someone called Donna Juanita, the Urban Spliff, who says, do you ever get obsessed with a small part in a song, like the way the beat switches, the guitar playing in the background, the sax that carries the beat, and ad-lib, the part you anticipate the minute you press play? And I know exactly what that question refers to. Yes, you like the whole song and you listen to the whole song, but you cannot wait just for that little bit. And it's a lot easier, of course. I mean, you can even just excerpt that little bit and play it over and over, but that would miss the point, wouldn't it, Rifue Letsua? Because it's only special because it's part of the whole, isn't it? You've got one for us.
John, I have a beautiful song. I've loved this song. It's a bit older than me. It came out in 1992. It's called Just Another Day Without You. Well, Just Another Day by John Sikara. For me, it's when you listen to the song from 1 minute 17 seconds, you can just sort of feel his emotions become raw and strong. Because he says, because I don't want to say it. But he obviously says it in a nice way. But I almost feel like, oh, John, are you speaking to me? So it's a love song. And he's just saying, listen, I can't live without you.
John Sikara, Just Another Day. Okay, so we're going to listen to that special bit at 1 minute 17 seconds. Here we go. Yeah, hugely popular song. And I wonder how many people in their cars belting out that part of the chorus as well, in a moment where the song just absolutely soars. So songs that you like, but in particular, that bit in the song. It might be a musical contribution. It might be the way in which the singer changes, or maybe backing singers come in. And we've got a beautiful example to get us going. We've already got one, by the way, to take us further along. Dumisani, who says, John, my bit I'm obsessed over is Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight, the drum climax. Phil Collins, it was actually his debut solo single after a stellar career with the group Genesis, released in January 1981. And according to Wikipedia, especially famous for its drum break towards the end, which has been described as, quote, the sleekest, most melodramatic drum break in history. Also rated amongst 101 greatest drumming moments. So what's your bit of a song that you love? And obviously we want to know why and it's incomplete without the song itself. So we're not just going to play you a little bit. I'm not going to tell you can get the Phil Collins drum break at somewhere after 3 minutes, because isn't the beauty of those special moments in songs the waiting and the expectation, and you know that it's coming. You know, it's a bit like eating your dessert first, which some people say, by the way, is a very good thing. Anyway, let me not get into territory I'm unfamiliar with. Give us a call on 011 883 0702 or 072 702 1702. We'd like to hear from you on that. And if you can, guide us on where in the song we will find that very special moment. It's 11 minutes now to 6 o'clock.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Some of the CETAs have now threatened to take the minister to court. Is your CETA one of those?
I think minister first has to give us the reasons in writing why we're under administration.
I'm trying to be clear here. Are you threatening to take the minister to court?
We are not threatening per se. We are exercising the rights that are available in law when a decision has been made and you are not satisfied with it.
So if you're not satisfied with the reasons he gives, you are going to take him to court?
We are likely if we are not satisfied with the reasons given.
Malusi Shezi, CEO of the Construction and Education Training Authority.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
It took patience, perseverance, and audacity to get my first call up and win with the Booker. And we did it together. That's why I, Dion Free, partnered with African Bank so I can win big with a 60-month fixed deposit. Patience brings results. Join the bank that backs you. Get a 12.8% return at expiry on your investment. Visit africanbank.co.za or a branch for assistance. African Bank, audacity to believe. African Bank is a licensed financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Do you know what's hiding behind the colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front of package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front of package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by the 30th of September.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hey, John. Good evening. Joe here. Look, that John Sikara song, it's the highest level of nostalgia. I can tell you now. And I've been with my wife now for 38 years, and it's her birthday on the 1st of September. I call her spring chicken. And every time I listen to this song, 1988, 89, and I was singing the song for her, I think 90. And it's quite a great song. Thank you, John, for bringing all the memories back. Joe here.
Yeah, it's wonderful how these little bits just get people responding. And this one says, "Hi, John, wah." I suppose that's how you pronounce W-A-H exclamation mark. Wah. Anyway, that's how I say it. Wah. Had to stop on the side of the road. Phil Collins, that drum break, definitely 101% for me too. So Dumi getting that going. Another Dumi says the song is by Janet Jackson. Come Back to Me. The last minute of the song, the thunder and rain fall sounds beautiful. Lovely, lovely. Okay, keep those coming on 011 883 0702. I see we've got Lutando calling from Midrand. Lutando, good afternoon to you. A special song and a special part of the song. What have you got for us? Good afternoon.
Hi, John. Yes, good afternoon. For me, it's Coldplay Clock.
Okay.
Towards the end, there's that little piano riff, which has become a bit iconic. I think it's our answer as a millennial towards Phil Collins in the air. It's that piano riff that happens towards the end of the song.
And tell me, when you playing it for yourself, Lutando, do you always play the whole song so you've got the expectation, you know it's coming, you're in a hurry, but you're not going to spoil it with any kind of fast forward?
Yes, 100%. I think the whole song is perfect, you know, like
Yes.
from the start right through to when the lyrics are being sung out, and then it just ends on a climatic ending with the piano riff. It's perfect. It actually leads up perfectly
Yes.
towards that moment. Yeah, which makes it great.
Well, we're going to break the rules, Lutando. We are going to give you dessert first in this musical menu. Here we go. Clocks. Clocks by Coldplay. Let's get this now from Andrew, who says, for me, it's the very last part of Dire Straits' Sultans of Swing. The guitar, Andrew says, is magical. Let's put it to the test.
We are the Sultans. We are the Sultans of Swing.
Well, for anybody else who, like Andrew, absolutely loves Dire Straits and admires, I'm certain, the wonderful work of Mark Knopfler, do yourself a favor. There's a wonderful British radio program called Desert Island Discs, and Mark Knopfler was the guest on that show. It is one of the best interviews with a musician I've ever heard. His musical choices are really, really interesting. And what a great guy. That's all you would say. You kind of, I thought to myself, I never chat to people on aeroplanes, but if I happen to be seated next to Mr. Dire Straits, I would break the rule. Of course, I don't know what his rules would be, but a wonderful conversation. Desert Island Discs, go to the interview there with Mark Knopfler. Now, this one from Christina, also a lot of rock music choices today, which I'm enjoying. Christina says, Stairway to Heaven, the Led Zeppelin classic. Christina says, start slow, then tempo and drums start. Always voted one of the best songs. And I'm assuming everybody does pretty much what I say, is take a close listen to the bit that they like, but they don't go instantly to that. That was always harder to do in the days of vinyl, of course. But I think even though you can do this much more swiftly. IT says, for me and my song, it's the bridge on It Takes More, Battlefield by Jordan Sparks, and refers us, if you really want to go straight there, to the bit between 2 minutes and 12 seconds and 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Your voice notes, please, to 072 702 1702. One more to listen to.
Hi, John. It is here in Randburg. The best piece of music I've ever heard is the Prince solo of While My Guitar Gently Weeps, a tribute to George Harrison for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Oh, that guitar solo is amazing.
Gently
Prince there paying tribute to George Harrison. Some more that you can maybe go and dig out for yourselves if it doesn't immediately come to mind. Jill says, Sweet Surrender by John Denver. I love the change between each verse and the chorus. I hang in for it. And this one from Legion, who says, that kind of vibe is perfectly captured by Laidback's Fly Away. It's been a long-time favorite of mine since I was a kid. I think there's definitely potential for multiple hits with a song that seamlessly transitions into different tunes. Legion sending us that from Montana. Great to have you with us on 702 Drive. We're back tomorrow at 3 from all of us. Good night.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, proud sponsor of the SARA Rail Conference 2025, powering progress